Next on Saratoga Live, 2-year-old colts get their stakes turn on the turf sprinting. Already a graded stakes winner on dirt. Sir Troubadour's pedigree suggests he may be even better on grass. 2 colts lining up to oppose him. Swamp Rat, who looked very professional in a debut win at Belmont, and stablemate Yes and Yes, who just got up to also win his debut at Belmont by a nose back in May. We'll look ahead to Saturday's showdown in the Alabama, and who looks poised to shine, perhaps Midnight Bijou in that standout race for 3-year-old fillies. And this filly skipping the Alabama, instead booking a date to face the boys in the Travers. The latest is Wonder Gadot in her preps for the Midsummer Derby. We'll have all that and much more coming up on this Friday, excuse me. I'm jumping ahead to the weekend. This Friday edition of Saratoga Live. It's presented by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Beautiful weather here in Saratoga Springs. And we have a good card coming up for you this afternoon that will kick off the start of the Naira Bets late pick 5 sequence. We're underway there. Actually, the late pick 4 coming up in this historic racetrack that's been around since 1864. So Greg Wolf alongside one of the top trainers in the country here in Tom Amoss. Our feature race, we saw the fillies in the Bolton Landing earlier in the week. Now it's the boys going 5.5 furlongs on the turf in the Skidmore. And a horse who has never been on the grass before, but a stakes winner on dirt, Sir Troubadour. Pedigree says he should like it. What do you think?
Does indeed. So we're going to break from an outside post with Sir Troubadour. He's a winner of the Bastard Manor on the dirt, beat a good group of 2-year-olds, but he is a full to Regally Ready, who made about $1.5 million on the turf and was a top sprinter, won the Breeders' Cup Sprint.
He did. Won a lot of races on the grass. That was back when it was a grade 2 all the way back in 2011. So we will see how he takes to the grass here in his first effort. He's going to be all the way here on the outside. Couple of scratches, so he will break from post 9 in this race. But this is a group of young horses, ton of an experience in this race, and anybody really could step up and improve.
He could indeed. And the one thing about Sir Troubadour you're going to have to like is that he's got that tactical speed. A few of these are in here that look like they're good grass horses. It looks like it takes him a little while to get going in a race. That's going to be a disadvantage going 5.5 today on the turf.
Get signed up, get started, play along with Naira Bets. You can download the Naira Bets app as well. When you bet 200, you'll get 200 in your account when you use the promo code Saratoga Live. To check in downstairs at the paddock with the rest of our crew in here. New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling and former New York Met and LA Dodger Paul LaDuca. Hi, guys.
How you doing, Greg? Good to hear from you. Paul, I'll give you an interesting fact. Yes and Yes. 1 of 2 for trainer Phil Gleaves, coming off maiden wins and nice maiden wins in their debuts in the grass. Yes and Yes's damn sire is Distorted Humor. Phil Gleaves, the original trainer of Distorted Humor.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, too. And Phil also is a homebred of this horse, Yes and Yes. And, you know, he was good first time out. He broke very sharply. He was very professional. And it looked like he wasn't going to get home. The public didn't think he was going to get home at 36.5 and 1, but he got up in the last jump with Rajiv Maragh aboard. He's been laid up since May 25th. I would think he's gotten bigger and stronger. We'll find out that obviously from Maggie, but he's one of the players in here for sure.
No question about it. I think both horses for Phil Gleaves, including the 8 Swamp Rat as well. I think both these are major players for an excellent trainer in Phil Gleaves. Maggie Wolfendale, another member of our team. She's in her usual spot in the paddock.
Yeah, Andy, as you guys touched on Yes and Yes, we'll talk a little bit about Swamp Rat. Interesting name, but for the Hilliard family, was a prize champion rodeo bull that possessed the same name, and that's what the equine version is named after, as he was impressive too, just like Yes and Yes, launching a big bid from the back of the pack to take down that field at first asking at Belmont Park, and he was complimented when Joyful Heart came back in his second start to win quite easily as well for his trainer Brian Lynch. So Phil Gleaves, good to see him back in New York and with a very viable duo in today's Skidmore Stakes. As we'll check in with Gabby Gaudette, I know you're interested in a horse who's actually trying the turf for the first time.
That's right, Maggie, and I'm actually standing in front of the number 11, Chase Greatness, going postward in today's stakes race later today for Horacio de Paz. And I actually got the chance to speak with Horacio de Paz, and in terms of the maiden victory 2 starts back, it was a race that was originally carded for the turf. It was rained off and run on the dirt, and he said, yeah, they really, really were trying to get this horse on the turf from the get-go. So it was disappointing that he wasn't on the turf, but in hindsight, it actually panned out because he wound up getting his maiden score. And looking at this horse's pedigree, the Connections definitely have experience with the pedigree. He is by more than ready, but he's out of a mare by the name of Salsa Star, which makes him a half-2 Chubby Star, who actually Sagamore did own and was second in the Jimmy Murphy as a 3-year-old. So she definitely has some turf pedigree on the bottom side and the top side here, Greg. Interesting race, though, for sure, and our feature race of the day.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. We look forward to that coming up. Congratulations, by the way, to Gabby Gaudette, her sister Lacey, getting her first win at Saratoga and the opener on the card earlier today. So well done. As we take a look at the races we're going to be showing you this afternoon, this is the late pick 4, begins in race 7, entry-level allowance, 7 furlongs on the main track in race 7. That 8th race, a mile on the inner turf. The Skidmore, our feature, 5.5 furlongs on the turf. We close out the card in the sequence. Race number 10, 6 furlong sprint, $20,000 maiden claiming event. Weather and track conditions. They're presented by Piranha Fly Spray, the preferred fly spray of the Saratoga Racecourse. Piranha on, pests gone. Main track fast, turf condition firm for Friday's action coming up here. Let's take a look at the field and the current odds for the 7th right now. And Dancing All Night for trainer Shug McGahee has a race already, Tom, at the meet. It was on opening day. Favored right now at 2-1.
Yeah, she was that level is the level she's running for today, and you know, with her, she's the most likely winner of this race. 2-1. I know Andy's downstairs thinking those aren't odds I can accept. They're not odds I can accept either. I'm a value guy. I'm gonna look elsewhere.
Well, let's take a look at what you came up with for the pick 4. It begins right here, 191,000 and growing in that pool. What's your ticket look like?
Well, I'm very spread out in the 7th race. There are a lot of ways to go here, and I think you have to cover a lot in here as well as the 8th race. But when we get to our feature, the Skidmore, I really like the 8-horse Swamp Rat, who didn't break all that fast and had to get going late. I look for him to be a lot sharper today, put himself in a lot better position. He is a good-looking grass horse. I like his stride over the grass when I watched him finish up in his most recent race.
All right, so there's Tom's ticket, $40 play. See what Paula Duca came up with.
Yeah, I'm sort of top-heavy, too, here. 1, 2, 4, and 10 in here. I'm going to try to get out of here light. I thought race number 8 was a difficult race. I think Yummy Bear's got a shot. I even think Honor Up on the outside gets a bad post. I even think Royal Blessing. And then 1, 3, 8, 12. You get to the last race, the one horse in there is the complete Ricky Bobby horse of all time. That horse is going to either finish first or last. American Rule 6-5 on the morning line. You either take your chances or not.
No, I agree. It's a difficult situation for them. I wish you guys were using the 9 in the first leg. I think the 9, very interesting here for Mark Hennig, a horse who basically bolted last time.
All right, we're 15 minutes away from the start of this pick 4 sequence. Of course, the Skidmore Stakes, our feature. It's part of the pick 4, and you can earn a 10% bonus on your Skidmore trifecta with the NYRA app. If you place a $1 wager, NYRA has a bonus on a selected Saratoga stake every day of the meet. Visit NYRABets.com for the full schedule. We'll be back right after this.
His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with NYRA Bets. Rushes out of there to take the lead. It's easy on your computer or NYRA Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NYRABets.com.
Nightcap switches back to the outside. Exaggerator down to the 16th pole, but Exaggerator has turned the tables. He has won the Preakness. He has won the Travers over American Fire. Irish War Cry has won
Casino and Resort, upstate New York's ultimate entertainment destination with live table game action and the hottest new slots paying out millions. Book your luxury waterfront room or suite at upstate New York's premier resort, the Landing Hotel at Rivers Casino and Resort.
Back on Saratoga Live. This is what it looked like early this morning. And Tom Amos, I believe you were up at, what, 4:30 this morning, checking in at the barn?
Yeah, we get there early. So I saw that sunrise, and it was a typical Saratoga morning. The ducks flying over the infield, landing in the pond. There's nothing finer here. And you can come have breakfast right when it's happening, right here in the grandstand.
Well, actually, we'll still be asleep, but I appreciate the offer. Saratoga Showdown, a free online contest you can get involved with each and every day on the show. You don't risk any of your own money. Go to NYRA.com/showdown. You're competing for real prizes each and every day. Time to check into the paddock right now. We're going to go to Maggie Wolfendale. This report brought to you by Hillendale Farm, now standing Curlin for $150,000.
Thanks, Greg. And want to start off down on the inside with number 1, McCall here, who did win and break her maiden first time out at Ellis Park fairly impressively, as we did see the second place finisher come back with a win as well. Now, she kind of came up the rail that day and caught up with Connection. She actually wears a burr on the outside, on the right side of her bit, and that is to prevent a horse from kind of lugging out. So obviously it worked very nicely as she ran very straight up the rail. She's a big, good-looking filly, and I like her energy level here. She's just kind of marching around this paddock like she owns it, and she's a big price right now. And the extra furlong from the 6 to 7, I think, is ideal for what is a big, good-looking filly. Moving on to number 9, Cipriana. As we heard Andy say, she bolted in her last start, and then 2 starts ago, she actually flipped in the gate at Gulfstream Park, and that led to a very disappointing performance that day. So obviously there's some mental issues, I would say, with Cipriana number 9 in here. Now she, as far as equipment on her face, nothing has changed, just wearing a normal snaffle, but she is wearing front bandages for the first time here. So while I like her physically, and so far she's holding it together, I don't love the fact that she shows up wearing those. Now number 10 is Cilantro, who will come back off a layoff of 6 months for trainer Todd Pletcher. I wasn't in love with the field that she comes out of, but she's a good-looking filly. She represents herself well here in the paddock. Beautifully put together, extremely well-conditioned heading back here. She looks fit, she looks strong, and just a pleasant kind of disposition to her here as well. So we'll see if she is ready off the bench here. But Andy, I know that you were interested in number 1, McCall here. What did you like about her?
I like a lot of them. I mean, you talked about it too, Maggie. She was very impressive in her debut. The pace didn't fall apart. I mean, she's the only horse came running, and she came out of left field. But also, Paul, one thing I really like, she made her rally on the rail, and I watched race at Ellis. I looked up the charts. I don't think the rail was the place to be that day. And if she was truly on a dead rail, that performance is even more impressive than it looks on paper.
It was very impressive. First of all, you don't make up a ton of ground on Ellis, period. It's a speed racetrack. It always has been a speed racetrack that yields decent times. Now, she came from the cloud. She did not break well. but I like the way she settled in. Jimmy Graham brought her home. Now, she doesn't need the lead here. The 2 Sweet Bye-Bye, she should show some speed. The 4 Ask It Walk, Dancing All Night should show some speed. So, Palladian Bridge, she'll get enough pace to run into, and you gotta love horses that don't know how to lose yet.
Yeah, we'll see what she can do in here. Now, talking about Cipriana, who Maggie was alluding to, bolting last time, listen, as she said, 3 back at Gulfstream, flipped in the gate. When she's behaved herself, she's run very well. Now, we'll see if she behaves herself, but the July 20th race, you can pick her up. She's in those light blue silks. She'll be way out in the turn, way out in the turn. Now, Palladian Bridge and Dancing All Night ran well in there, and both have a chance here, and I agree with what Tom said. Dancing All Night is way overbet at 2-1 right now. She's one of the horses who can win, but Cipriana totally finished 6 lengths behind these horses. According to Tracker, she covers 70 more feet than Dancing All Night did. That's more than 6 lengths.
Yeah, look, I mean, it looks like she's really gone, right?
I mean,
out of the race,
last year, right?
Last, like she's getting pulled up, and then all of a sudden Castellano got into her. It's like, oh, wait a second, she's still got some run left. Crazy ride. Obviously, that's maybe why Santana is aboard, and hopefully she can mind her antics, but she ran on well at the end of this race.
You almost wonder if Javier wouldn't want to get back aboard after that. He's not riding in here, but Santana doing a good job as a win today, Greg, already.
And the field making their way from Champions Way out onto the racetrack. Our post parade coming up here in just a moment for the start of this pick 4. We have it's about $280,000 in that pool. We're going to kick things off with McCall. Here is the shipper from Ellis Park for Rusty Arnold with Jose Lezcano.
Impressive run to break her maiden in her debut, racing along a rail that may not have been the place to be.
Sweet By and By after 2 starts on the turf, getting back to the dirt here for Steve Clasaris with Jorge Navarro.
Yeah, and Joshua Navarra will be aboard. How about this? Carol Cedeno aboard. This horse looking for 5 in a row, and I think getting underestimated a tiny bit.
Yeah, excuse me, Joshua Navarra. I'm thinking of my trainers here. Long stalking Manny Franco. Michael Lerman just 1 for 19 coming in.
Finds herself in a very difficult spot, making her 2nd start this year at Saratoga.
Kieran McLaughlin got Ascot Walk into the winner's circle at this meet back on July 22nd. Joe Bravo back aboard.
Yeah, you're right, Greg. And I thought it was a really good effort here for Shadwell. I think they got a nice little runner on their hands, but she's facing a tough field here.
Our current favorite for Shug McGahee, Dancing All Night. She debuted at this meet back on July 20th. Just got beat a neck.
She was coming off a near year layoff, and she ran very well to be 2nd in there. But this is a competitive field, and 2-1's a tough price to take in this tough a field.
Here's Laney. She's at 14-1. Jose Ortiz, he has a couple of wins today. Teams up with Eddie Keneally.
Yeah, she runs her races upside down. You get the great rider change. Look for her late in here. I don't know about for a win candidate, but 2nd or 3rd.
On Harrington, she has shown talent when she's been on the track. We haven't seen her since September of 2016, now with Ian Wilkes.
Tough spot to take a horse off a near 2-year layoff. But when she was on the track, she ran some decent races.
Here's a look at Palladian Bridge. Having some issues here getting onto the track. We're going to go backwards with this 5-year-old mare.
That's called backing it on up, Greg. And she's going to be showing some speed in here. Most wins in the field. She's 8 for 24 lifetime.
Irad Ortiz Jr. will be aboard. And she's still a little in her head right there. 8-1 on the board. She just missed by a length here at Saratoga back on opening day, where she was right behind Dancing All Night in that spot. Hopefully the hardest part over with her now that she's on the track. There's a look at Ricardo Santana Jr. Meanwhile, he will be aboard Cipriana for trainer Mark Hennig. We showed you that interesting start from her back on July 20th.
When she's behaved herself, she's run very well. We'll see what she does today, but I think at a big price, she's a must-use.
And on the outside, Cilantro, trained by Todd Pletcher. She was beat by Cipriana in the debut, and then she'd come back and win by 4 lengths.
Yeah, she did. She came back and ran a really nice race at 50 cents on the dollar. Now she's been off since February and working forwardly for the spot.
9-2 on the board on Cilantro, the daughter of Distorted Humor. So that's your field as we get a look there at the 8 again. Palladian Bridge. And let's check in with Maggie Wolfadale with the latest here on this runner that has been having some issues.
Yeah, Greg, as we see, we cannot get Palladian Bridge to move forwardly here beneath Irad Ortiz. And it's actually his first time he's been on her in a while. And talking with trainer Ray Handel prior, he was holding his breath. And she was with the pony in the paddock. Oh, there she goes. At least she's moving forward now. That's a good sign. But she's a bad actor. This isn't totally out of character for her, but this is by far the worst I've seen her behave. And hopefully, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if she gives them some trouble as she gets toward the gate. She's throwing her head up and down. Hopefully, Ira can get kind of that nervous energy out of her. But it's never anything you want to see. But just let me reiterate, it's not out of character either, Greg.
All right, Maggie, thank you. So, I mean, how much energy is she expending here? Can she still run her race after all this, Tom?
I don't know. Physically, I don't think she's expending a lot of energy, but mentally is what the problem is. These races are 1 minute and 10 seconds. Horses have to be mentally right when you're in the gate, or everything goes wrong when the gate opens. And my concern with the 8-horse Paladine Bridge is that she's not mentally right now. I think we need to keep a close eye on her. I'm going to be looking forward to hearing what Maggie has to say as we get closer to race time.
And again, the best thing you can do with this situation is just let her let off a little bit of steam.
Yeah, I mean, you want to get along with her. Let her do what she wants to do. The other horses are with their pony. She is not. She doesn't want to be with the pony. She refused it earlier. Look, you know, you're training the horses. You want to train the horse to what they are willing to do, and she is willing to be by herself, not wanting to be with others. There she is stopped. I'm curious to see if she can get him started again, because I have a feeling that this horse is going to keep freezing up, and freezing up is not what you want to see in your horse.
Now, meanwhile, the vet probably going to have a little bit of work to do if things keep going as they are with Palladium Bridge, and we'll see if that 5-year-old mare calms down at all. It's Jesse Almeida, track veterinarian there, so we'll keep our eyes on Palladium Bridge. Meanwhile, another 5-year-old mare in this spot coming off a long time off. That is the 7 Inheritance. Let's go to Gabby Gaudet for more.
Yeah, Greg, she's actually coming in off of a 23-month layoff. We have not seen her since September of 2006, but she has definitely been working forwardly in the morning. And I got the chance to catch up with her trainer, Ian Wilkes, just talking about what she has been doing in the morning, because it definitely pops off the page. Her most recent work just 4 days ago, going 4 furlongs and 46-2. And he was talking about that work and that her exercise rider was actually aboard for the work. His name was Alex, and they clocked the time. He said, okay, don't tell Alex how fast she went. Let's ask him how fast she went. He said, probably about 48 or so. That's how well she was carrying underneath of herself. He said that she did it absolutely in hand. She's just a filly with a lot of natural speed. And then I did ask him, too, if this was maybe a stepping stone to stretch her out, because it is a 7/8 race first off of the layoff. He said, no, we're going to keep her at 1 turn. So obviously, fitness could be a question mark, but she is fast, and she is coming in really impressively. Now, as we look at the 9 Cipriana, I talked to Mark Hennig about, you know, her antics last time out. They're well documented. She flipped at the gate down at Gulfstream. She bolted coming around the final turn last time out. And as Maggie suggested, she does not have any type of equipment change. She just has a regular D-bit on. And Mark did say that they didn't want to make any type of change because it's more so a sensitivity in her mouth. So they didn't want to put a harsher or more aggressive bit in there. The instructions really are just to tell Ricardo Santana to not get in her mouth, just put his hands down and to try to get her to relax today.
All right, Gabby, thank you very much. So a couple in this field who have been known as bad actors, and this is the one that's been acting the worst so far.
Yeah, she has. But you know what? I watched while we were talking just now. She was with the pony, looked to be more relaxed than she was earlier. You know, I'm not seeing a horse that's overly sweating or doing the things that suggest she's fretting about the race. We know she has this behavior in her. We heard that from Maggie. So, to me, the 8-horse is ready to go.
All right, so 10-1 right now on Palladium Bridge as we send it downstairs to Andy and Paul.
So, Paul, I'm curious. I mean, you and I were just talking about the 2. The Jockey's off the 8-horse continues to be a problem, obviously, if you want to maybe get some words from that from Tom.
Yeah, so look, the problem with the 8-horse is that every time she's asked to do something that's related to this race, whether it's to walk off, jog off, go towards the gate, she has shown that she is anxious and fretting. Now, outwardly, she's not showing us any behavior right now when we watch her. But when the rider gets on her back and he asks her to do things, she's not really willing to do it or wanting to do it. So I'm going to take back my earlier statement and say that I don't like what I'm seeing right now. I'd love to know, Maggie's up close, if she can give us a hand and tell us what's going on here.
Well, Tom, I wish I was a little bit closer, to be honest. Now, you see, they put the chain over her nose just to give the assistant starter, who Justin Pringle there, a little bit more control over her. As you said, Tom, this is not a good sign, and this is by far one of the worst times I've seen her behave up here. Maybe it's Saratoga, maybe it's because there's so much going on. I wish I was back there, but obviously Dr. Almeida does have her eye on her. It's not great for Palladium Bridge moving forward here, guys.
There again, you see that track veterinarian in the front of your screen on hand to see if there's any issues. And I mean, how long does this go on for? Like, well, I guess we'll have to wait and see the loading process.
That's exactly right, Greg. She can do whatever she wants back there. When it comes time to load, she needs to load correctly and go in the gate. If she gives them a problem with that, then the veterinarian's going to have a decision to make, and that's whether to let the horse run or not. And she's going to be in contact with Irad Ortiz, and she's going to ask him, what are you feeling on top of her? What's she telling you education-wise? He just took the cotton out of her ears. That's what you just saw Irad take out of her ears. A lot of times when horses aren't hearing stuff, they can be a little bit more relaxed. The sign that the cotton was in her ears to begin with tells you that this trainer knows she's trouble on the racetrack. But he just pulled the cotton out of her ears, and let's see how she loads.
Well, for the moment, it appears like she has calmed down, and maybe she'll just be absolutely fine as she steps to the gates. And she balks just a little bit. Again, we had a story on the starting gate crew here at the New York Racing Association on the show just the other day. They're one of the best crews in the entire industry. They know each and every one of these horses. They got to know Palladium Bridge if they hadn't known this one, but been in New York for a long, long time. So they know the tendencies of all these runners, and they're well aware of the issues that this 5-year-old mare is capable of.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing here is that no one is being aggressive with her, which is great. You want her to hold her composure, so they're trying to coax her and do the right things by her.
And they're going to try and back her in now. You see Irad Ortiz Jr. letting the starting gate crew do their thing, and maybe they'll bring her back around, but the gate initially was open.
Yeah, look, you've got other horses in the gate right now. They're not going to mess around long here. If this doesn't work in the next 20 seconds or so, I think she's going to be withdrawn. You can't leave those other horses in the gate like that, simmering, ready to run, while she frets behind the gate and doesn't load correctly.
And we see everyone else here waiting patiently. And what does this do for the rest of the field?
Well, look, a lot of these are pros, and I don't see anybody acting badly, but it's still not the right thing to do. There she goes. She just went in the gate.
All right, so Palladium Bridge back in the gate there. Irad Ortiz Jr., the meets leading rider. He will hop aboard. Our favorite to 5, Dancing All Night, making her second appearance here at this meeting. Let's send it upstairs for the call of the beginning of this first leg of the late pick 4 on this Friday afternoon. Here's the voice of New York Racing for the call, Larry Colmus.
Irad Ortiz is up on Palladium Bridge, and now Cilantro will be the last one to go into the starting gate, and she's just a little bit keyed up too under Luis Saez. Cilantro still to come up to this outside stall at odds of 4-1. Dancing All Night is the current 2-1 favorite here as we try to get Cilantro to go into the starting gate. Others are standing well, and she's almost in there now. Looks like Cilantro is in, and they're all in line and ready for the start. They're off. Ascot Walk broke well. Palladium Bridge has speed. Cilantro from the outside and Cipriana. These 4 out to the front, and then comes Sweet By and By and McCall from the inside as they head up the backstretch. Inheritance is next. Dancing All Night is racing 6 lengths off the lead and 3 lengths clear of Laney. The trailer is Long Stocking as they head up the backstretch. And it is Sweet By and By who has made the front now, leading Cilantro by a half length through a 22.99 quarter. Break of another 3 lengths more back to Ascot Walk. On the inside comes McCall. Dancing All Night's in between horses. Cipriana's 4 deep as they move into the turn. And then it's Palladium Bridge. Inheritance on the inside with 6 lengths to make up. And 3.5 lengths more back to Long Stocking and Laney. 3 furlongs to go. Sweet By and By has run a 46.03 half mile and leads it by a head as they round the far turn. Cilantro is second. Ascot Walk is third. Cipriana has bolted to the outside fence as the field makes their way to the top of the stretch. Here comes Cilantro on the outside of Sweet By and By, but Cilantro is drifting out. Dancing All Night's down on the inside. Ascot Walks in the center of the track. Furlong to run. Sweet By and By still there, holding off the competition. Dancing All Night is next, and then Ascot Walks. Cilantro back to fourth. They're coming down to the line, and Sweet By and By holds on to win from Dancing All Night. Ascot Walk was third, and Cilantro was fourth.
Well, Cipriana bolted again, ran on good late again, but her usual antics, Sweet By and By, very quick early and just kept on going.
Yeah, transferred that farm from Parks over to Saratoga, ran a great race. Now, 5 of 6 wins lifetime.
Amazing horse. She runs well in the turf. She runs well in the dirt, and she paired up very good dirt efforts. Steve Glaceris, a trainer who's a bit under the radar, but does a sensational job. He's here in Saratoga. He came. He meant business. She got a fairly moderate pace, but she was best, Paul.
No, you know, the ride was good. It was clicked off great by Joshua. You know, he went 23, 23, 23. Basically, just she was able just to keep on going, Dancing All Night at every shot. Ascot Watt, I thought ran okay in the middle of the racetrack, but just no doubt, sometimes you got to look at the race form. Horses like to win races, and this is the horse now that's won short, long, on the turf, and now here at Saratoga.
Yeah, amazing.
So Sweet By and By, 6-1. 2-5, 4-10 finish. Let's check in with Gabby Gaudet.
Thanks, Greg. And here with winning trainer Steve Glaceris. This horse can run on turf, dirt, anywhere in between. How confident, though, were you in the step up in class today as she's primarily faced Pennsylvania bred?
Well, that's what we needed to do. She needed to take her game to a whole new level. She's disposed of all her opposition in the past, and we needed to try this, and it worked successfully.
And your thoughts of her coming down the stretch? I mean, she really did put this field away today.
She's done it in every race. And this was a much better group. There's a good group of fillies here, and we're real excited about her.
Steve, congratulations. I'll let you walk down to the winner's circle.
Thanks so much.
All right, Greg. Steve Glaceris, an impressive filly here. Sweet By and By going wire to wire.
Impressive indeed, and had been going longer, cutting back turf to dirt. Sometimes that can dull your speed. Cutting back did not dull this one's speed at all.
Not at all. And look, that's a man that knows how to win races. I've been around him at the fairgrounds about 5 years ago. He knows what to do.
Sweet By and By, 3-year-old filly by Sky Mesa, 6-1 start to the late pick 4, and Joshua Navarro aboard for the winning ride. Let's go back to the running of this race here.
So let's watch Cipriana all the way on the outside. Look at the rider on Cipriana Santana leaning in, trying to get her to do something. She has her head cocked. She's the furthest to our outside. He just can't hold her in. The problem is she's got an outside post position. There's nobody outside her to keep her in, and so she just goes her own way. Race over for the 9-horse Cipriana.
Even worse than what we saw from her before when she did it.
Yeah, I mean, if they can put a less restricted bridle on it, it's not the answer. The answer is they've got to get something on her, perhaps even blinkers, to make her keep a straight course.
So Steve Glaceris, Joshua Navarro team up with Sweet By and By, 3-year-old filly coming in from Parks to win here at Saratoga. And that's another thing that just makes this meet so difficult. You have horses coming in from all over. They can be competitive, and you want to bring your best here to try and find this winner's circle at Saratoga. And these connections brought in a sharp filly who had reeled off 4 consecutive wins. Now make it 5. Sweet By and By, $14 for the victory. Dancing All Night, who went off the favorite, winds up second. Ascot Walk for Kieran McLaughlin completes the trifecta. Let's go downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale for more.
And pleased to be joined here in the winner's circle by owner-breeder of Sweet By and By, Joe Mbisi. And what can you say about this filly? She's undefeated now for Steve.
Well, she's undefeated for Steve. We've always liked her, and she's just going step by step to one level after another.
And she's beaten up on PA-bred company, but it also doesn't matter what...
He took the best path he could to build her confidence and to get her in the right spot.
Where do you think she's best? She's a dirt sprinter, she's a turf router.
She's good on both surfaces. She really is. She really is. She's good sprinting, and she's good at 2 turns. So we're really happy with her.
And you have a small but a pretty successful owning breeding operation. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, we breed about 5 or 6 a year, and I buy at sales every year. But I think she's going to be our greatest steal.
Could she be a greatest stakes winner?
I think she's her next start is the Cotillion, and we'll see then.
Well, best of luck. That is an ambitious spot, but we're looking forward to it.
Ambitious, but we want it.
I like it. Bringing it home to PA.
Yeah.
All right, Joe, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right, Joe and BC, Cotillion next for Sweet By and By, Greg.
That would mean a date with a 3-year-old filly division leader, Monomoy Girl. Talk about an ambitious spot. I love the aggressiveness.
Yeah, how about the fact that she'll be probably taking on Monomoy Girl right out of the gate? Those horses both like to be prominent. It'll be interesting to see how that works out.
Very interesting as we take a look at the Naira Bets late pick 5 follow along, $160,000 in today's pool. Odds-on favorite. Took the opening leg of the sequence back in race 6 before we came on the air, and now a 6-to-1 shot to open things up a little bit. Race 8 coming up in just 26 minutes. We'll be on the turf for this one. 1 mile over the inner turf. New York Breds, an allowance optional claiming group, and Belmont's Honor Up, who won at Belmont in the turf debut, going a mile and a 16th, opens up as a 7-to-2 favorite.
This is another race that I think is wide open, Greg. The horse right next to a Royal Blessing being bet down from 8-to-1 has my attention. He's the old man in the race. One thing to remember about him, the horse that beat him 2 back by a neck, Big Changes, won 2 stakes after winning that race.
Well, in case you missed it, this race happened a little bit earlier before we came on the air. It was a Saratoga due back in race 2 on the card. Rudy Rodriguez bringing back Frosty Margarita, who raced just 4 days ago, and Frosty Ann, who raced just 5 days ago. Oh, and Frosty Ann make it 6 consecutive victories.
A very game win by her. I mean, she had to stalk a fast horse in Verdant Pastures. They went at honest pace. She put her away. The favorite landmine, a perfect trip behind her, and Frosty Ann just dug in. This was an extremely impressive win by her, Paul.
Well, that's why you're 13 for 31 lifetime. That's 3 for 6 here at Saratoga. You put her on any surface besides turf. She's a runner, and now over $400,000 in earnings.
3rd straight Saratoga due for trainer Rudy Rodriguez, and this 5-year-old mare, as game as they come, she just wants to run.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, he claimed this one a few starts ago, so he's done quite well with this one.
Rudy Rodriguez does it again in the Saratoga due with Frosty Ann. Wins 2 races in a span of 5 days here at the meet, getting a stakes victory back in race 2 on the card. We're going to take a break in the action. Alabama contenders, we'll look through them, including Midnight Bijou, the one to beat Saturday.
His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
she comes. Songbird's got a 4-length lead as they come into the final furlong. Mike Smith just shakes the reins at Songbird. Going for broke has made progress up into second inside of Family Tree, but they're 6 lengths behind Songbird at the 16th pole. It is Songbird, this magnificent filly, winning the Alabama. She is a perfect 10.
Oh, that reference there, yeah, perfect 10. She started her career off with that win there. 10 wins from 10 career starts. Not many in the history of this sport have done that.
No, they haven't. I mean, a lot like Monomoy Girl, how she just went along. Monomoy Girl, of course, has that one loss, but just dominated her division up to that point, as Monomoy Girl has.
Mike Smith coming to Saratoga to win an important race with a filly. We've seen that before. Certainly, he has made a career out of riding some of the best fillies and mares that we have seen in a long, long time. He will do it again on Saturday, here to ride Midnight Bisou, who headlines this cast for Saturday's Alabama.
It's the premier race of the Saratoga meet for 3-year-old fillies, won in recent years by the likes of Songbird and Royal Delta on their way to divisional championships. This year's edition appears wide open with the absence of current divisional leader Monomoy Girl. Midnight Bisou is without question the filly to beat. She had an excuse when third to Monomoy Girl in the Kentucky Oaks, then took a huge step forward in a sensational performance in the Mother Goose.
Mike Smith riding with confidence here on Midnight Bisou. And she is pulling away and pulling away impressively. Midnight Bisou, a very strong performance in the Mother Goose.
While no match for Monomoy Girl in the Coaching Club American Oaks, she was clearly best of the rest. Talk Verve to me has done very little wrong since an eye-catching 11-length maiden score at the fairgrounds. Like Midnight Bisou, she too has played second fiddle to Monomoy Girl when runner-up in the Acorn. She turned in her best performance yet off that effort in the Indiana Oaks. Steve Asmussen has had a terrific start to the meet, and he brings She's a Julie into the Alabama off back-to-back wins, including her first stakes triumph in the Grade 3 Iowa Oaks.
She's a Julie, and Ricardo Santana Jr. just canters to the wire all alone. In fact, eases up for the win.
Eskimo Kisses could benefit from having a start over the Saratoga surface already this meet. Her 4th place finish in the Coaching Club American Oaks was her first start since the Kentucky Oaks. She should be rolling late and have much more punch down the lane second off the layoff. Of course, the biggest question mark, who will really shine at 1.25 miles, a distance none of these fillies have run before or may ever run again.
It is the premier race for 3-year-old fillies at the Saratoga meet. 1.25 miles, Grade 1. It happens on Saturday. Tom, you, of course, were in that Coaching Club American Oaks. Chocolate Martini running 3rd, so you got a first-hand look at Midnight Bisou's 2nd place performance. She was the best of the rest in that group. We know Monomoy Girl kind of ran away with it. Is she the standout in this field?
Well, on paper she is, and she's going to be a big, big favorite, but she is vulnerable. We talked about the distance being 1.25 miles. I think that comes into play for Midnight Bisou. Also, personality and how she is pre-race. In the CCA, the Coaching Club Oaks, against me, she really got wound up on the racetrack. I thought she was close to being over the top when she went to the starting gate. Obviously, she held it together, but now she's coming back again. I'm going to keep a close eye on her in the post-parade and see how she handles everything around her. At 1.25 miles, even if her behavior's good, I'm not going near her at 7-5.
All right, she is a 7-5 morning line favorite, and Tom Amos says she is vulnerable in a play against in one of the premier races of this meet that happens tomorrow on Saturday. Grade 1 Alabama at 1.25 miles. We're going to take a break in the action. The 8th from Saratoga when we return. Paddock Report when we come back.
Eclipse champion Blade is having a breakout year in 2018. Among the nation's leading sires of stakes horses, his recent top runners include Fault, Maragh, Marley's Freedom, Beyond Blame, and Miss Kentucky. He's also making a name for himself internationally with French Classic winner Singman. And with yearlings bringing up to $350,000, this three-time Grade 1 winner offers outstanding value. Blame, standing at Claiborne Farm.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets. Rushes out of there to take the lead. It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
Back on this Friday edition of Saratoga Live, it is presented by Claiborne Farm. Good to have you with us on Fox Sports 2 and other regional networks across the country. We're getting set for race 8 here, coming up 1 mile over a firm inner turf course. Get signed up, started. You can play along with this race and all the races we show you each and every day of the Saratoga meet all summer long. $200 new member sign-up bonus when you use the promo code Saratoga Live. You can bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Let's get up close and personal with this field and see what Maggie Wolfendale thinks. Time for a paddock report brought to you by Hillendale Farm, now standing Bayern for $15,000. Maggie?
Thanks, Greg. And we'll check in with a horse who had his last win in his last start at Suffolk and comes here to Saratoga for trainer Jimmy Bond. That is number 5, Mascarello. Now, he is making his 4th start of 2018, and I'll admit, I wasn't in love with him when he came back off the bench. He just didn't look all that fit. He ran well that day in finishing 2nd, and 2, I was thinking he was a horse that, had gotten good towards the end of the year, that he needed to race into fitness. But now I'm seeing that as he comes off the back of that win, he looks better than ever. He looks way more fit than he did during the springtime at Aqueduct in Belmont, and he's just the one that I was immediately drawn to here in the paddock. Now, next we'll move on to number 9, Honor Up, another one that is coming in off the back of a win. Getting through his other than condition was this Bill Mott trainee, and look, they tried the turf for the first time. I wasn't that enamored with him getting on this surface. but he got the job done. He got the job done fairly well, I'd say, but it looks as though he's actually moved forward a bit from that race, to be honest. Granted, he is just a really good-looking son of To Honor and Serve. Looks a lot like his daddy, but we'll see. Can he take another step forward here for his second start on the turf? As we'll check in with Gabby Gaudette. Who do you have over there? Some young, fine-looking men.
Breathe in.
And one lady friend too as well, but here with Sean Feld, obviously a consultant for Little Red Feather. But okay, this is probably the only time that I've ever done this. You are getting married in 30 minutes?
30 minutes.
Yeah. Why are you here?
We got a horse running. Horses don't take days off, so neither do I.
So I have to ask you, are you more nervous for the wedding or for McKagan to run here?
No, I want McKagan to help pay for my wedding, so I'm really nervous.
We'll talk a little bit about the experience here, bringing all your friends out to Saratoga and where the wedding is going to be, and hopefully you won't be late.
Yeah, Fazig tipped in for the wedding, Hall of Fame for the reception. McKagan's doing really well. I was hoping it was going to be this race, so he wasn't going to be during the wedding. And we're very hopeful, and he's hot on the board right now, so we'll see what happens.
He is hot on the board. He's a horse that has a lot of speed. Are you thinking that he's going to go to the front today?
No, I told my guys, if he's not in front going into the first turn, we're walking right to Fazig, because he needs the lead.
All right, good stuff, good stuff. Well, good luck, have fun, and I hope you celebrate later.
All right, perfect, awesome, thank you.
All right, back to you, Andy.
Thanks a lot, Gabby. This is a race, Paul, where honestly, you could throw him up in the air. I think you got to just take a shot with someone.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a shot in the McKagan. Likes a little give in the ground. We haven't had a lot of rain, but there's going to be a little give in this ground. Yeah. And a horse off the claim from Michelle Nevin, a lot of respect for. Send him to the lead and hope for the best, Paul. That's my plan. That's all I got.
Yeah, well, you got that yielding turf course race where he beat Catapult. He repeats that race. He crushes this race. You're right. And when you look at him, he might be the one to catch. Now, when you look at some of the other horses in here, who can really go with him early in here? You know, maybe the 9 can show a little bit of attack speed, or the 3, Clutia.
He's faster than these horses if they want to send him, and hopefully they will. That's his best way to run. I agree with you on the 2 Yummy Bear, a horse you're interested in. He wanted a mile here last year, and he's a horse that can get a very good trip from the rail. He can win here, Paul.
Well, the reason why I like Yummy Bear, when you watch this horse's races, he always tries hard, and he always puts himself in the right position. I think this is the weakest field he's faced in a little while. Now, a mile might be his optimal distance, but going here at Saratoga, I think a mile is more like 7.5 furlongs, and I really think he's going to get a good trip here.
He can. He's an honest horse. He's the kind of horse that just shows up and runs well all the time. The 9 Honor Up is the favorite here, and I put him third out of respect to Bill Mott. Perhaps he improves. But the reality is that he's got the far outside post in this race. He's meeting significantly better horse than he met last time, and he got an absolutely perfect trip to win his last start. I'm talking about the 9 Honor Up. I'm not saying he can't win, because anyone can win this race, but I think he's an awful bet as the favorite.
Well, I think he's too low as the favorite. I do like him. I think he'll move forward. But you're right. You're looking at horses like McKagan. That's an 8-time winner compared to this horse who's won 1 time on the turf, and you're getting a much bigger price.
Yeah, I'm not saying he can't win either. I picked him third, but, gee, I don't think he's a good favorite in here. Greg, Tom, you guys got any clever ideas in this wide-open affair?
I thought it was a tremendous betting race here, but I'm with the guys. I think you would probably agree. You're taking a horse who's won just once on the turf. Granted, it was his debut, and he got the job done, facing a horse with a lot more experience and success on the turf.
Yeah, look, the one thing I would push back on with Paul and Andy is, you know, McKagan making the lead and clearing this field when you have a horse like Yummy Bear who's been sprinting for this last year, going to 2 turns for the first time. I just think he's going to have company up there with Yummy Bear. And if he does, I think that eliminates both of those horses. Look, the rail's out, 27 feet, and that's probably good in this spot. But for speed, I'm talking about. But I don't see anybody clearing the field here. I like that old man, Royal Blessing, the 9-year-old. Now, I want to make one other comment. There's a number of old horses in this race, a 9-year-old, an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, a couple of 5-year-olds. Grass keeps them around longer. They tend to have more longevity in their career if they're on the grass.
So we'll have our post for it here coming up in a moment. There's one of the old men you just saw leave the screen, the 8 Royal Blessing. That's the 9-year-old Tom was talking about, 10-time winner on the turf, the 8-horse Royal Blessing, won over $350,000. And he's shown the last couple of starts, including here at Saratoga back on July 25th. He still has it.
Yeah, he does indeed still have it. In the race before that at Indy, where he got beat by a horse named Big Changes by a neck. Big Changes came back and won the stake at not only at Evangeline Downs on the grass, but then right after that in West Virginia on West Virginia Derby Day. So won 2 stakes after beating our horse, Royal Blessing, by a neck.
I got to ask you, if you had a horse running and you were going to get married, what would Colleen have done to you? Would she have stayed with you?
Well, I think it's pretty evident that everything they've planned for this wedding involves a simulcast center they can watch races at. So I don't know who he's marrying, but I'm pretty sure she's pretty understanding.
If they win this race with McKagan, I think the wedding needs to be redirected to the winner's circle.
Yeah, I like that idea.
McKagan, the 6, with the wedding party. We'll see it. 5-1 right now on the board. That's how much people in this sport love this game. As we kick things off with Catch a Cab. The remaining half of what was a 3-part entry in here. Jose Ortiz for Mark Casse.
He had been running very, very well at Belmont, and last time out he threw in an inexplicable clunker. Can he get back to his good form?
Jose Ortiz looking for a 3rd win today. Yummy Bear's going to have the rail. Eric Consell for David Donk.
Yeah, and David Donk's been hot so far at this meet. I just think this son of Sydney's Candy sets a really good trip in here for Funky Monkey Stable.
Cluntia just claimed off of Mike Maker now with Rudy Rodriguez and Irad Ortiz Jr. aboard.
Rudy Rodriguez is 5 for 59, 8% with a 59-cent ROI off the claim with turf horses. Not for me.
Leave him at the gate, trained by Leah Giramatti, and Rajiv Maragh rides.
You know, she ran a good race last time, or he ran a good race last time on a yielding turf course at 31-1 with a good second, so why not at 17-1 today?
It was Blue Silks of Bond Racing Stable, trained by James Bond with Luis Saez. Mascarello.
He can't be played off his last 2 races, but his 3rd and 4th races back give him a real chance in this race, and he's won this course.
Here's McKagan with Ricardo Santana Jr. for Michelle Nevin off the claim.
Like I said earlier, listen, this horse has won the most races in the race. He's 7, and he's got $500,000 in the bank.
21 to whoa. There's the 7, flying by like a bullet here. Manny Franco for Jorge Abreu.
Tries to stretch out round 2 turns for the first time. Good luck.
Royal Blessing. Javier Castellano, the 8, the 9-year-old for Brendan Walsh.
You got to give Brendan Walsh some credit. This was 9-year-old last year at 8, won 4 races, won 1 race so far at 9, and is in pretty good form.
And a modest favorite at 7-2 here. Honor Up, his turf debut. It was a winning one last start for Hall of Fame trainer Bill Mott.
He has to improve dramatically off his turf debut where he won, and he's 7-2. Seems like a contender, but an underlay.
Great betting race coming up here in the 8th, 1 mile over the inner turf. We will have it for you live when we come back. Stick with us.
An undefeated graded stakes winner on the track, Algorithms was the nation's #1 sire of 2-year-olds in 2017 by percentage of winners. His top runners include multiple graded stakes performer Rich Mommy, winner of the Grade 3 Sugar Swirl, multiple stakes winner and graded stakes performer Recruiting Ready, and stakes winners Taylor Spirit, He Hate Me, and Sunset Ridge. In the ring, his yearlings have brought prices up to $220,000. Algorithms, standing at Clayton Farm.
How do New York breds perform? They win in world-class company. From Grade 1 races in Dubai, where New York-sired, New York bred Mind Your Biscuits won the Golden Shaheen for a 2nd time, to Belmont adding to his status as the richest New York bred with a close 2nd in the Met Mile. The Belmont Festival saw 2 more New York breds become millionaires. 4-star Crook in the New York Stakes and world record setter Disco Partner with a repeat victory in the Jaipur. New York breds, get with the program.
You're watching Saratoga Live, Presented by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Thanks for joining us on Fox Sports 2 and other regional networks across the country. Greg Wolf, trainer Tom Amos, Andy Serling, Paula Duca, Maggie Wolfadale, and Gabby Gaudet all with you as we get set for race 8 here. Mile over the inner turf. Coming up, a fantastic betting race in here where Honor Up, the 9 for Hall of Fame trainer Bill Mott, remains our favorite and actually come down even more in price now, 3-1. As the favorite on a horse who tried the turf for the very first time last out, just got up to win by a neck, giving up a ton of experience here, at least in terms of turf racing.
And stepping up a condition. That's hard to do. You win your previous condition and then win the next condition after that, and you set off as a favorite. That's, I think, a form of betting the last race more than looking at the overall picture.
Look right there at the 2. That is Yummy Bear. You had thought this one is going to try and press things on the front end in here with Eric Consell with that inside post position.
Well, look, it's up to what Eric wants to do, but this horse certainly has the speed of the 6 horse, who those guys downstairs think is going to be on the lead by himself.
The 6 is going to be in front in this race unless he stumbles or something coming out of the gate. Eric Consell is not an aggressive rider, but also if you look at Yummy Bear, and by the way, I agree, Tom. Yummy Bear does have the speed to be in front here. I do not disagree with that at all. But if you look at his drought races, he doesn't go to the lead in those races either. He's just not a horse that they seem to want to be forwardly placed with. And with an unaggressive rider, and then you get a horse McKagan, and I like the 6 McKagan. I do not like the 1A in this race. I like the 6 McKagan. I don't know where that selection came from, but I like the 6 McKagan in here. I think McKagan is going to want the lead. They're going to be aggressive, and they're going to have the lead.
There is McKagan, the 6 horse, about to load up in here with Ricardo Santana Jr. Just claimed by the Michelle Nevin barn. Let's check in real quick with Gabby Gaudet.
Well, you guys were talking about the pace scenario, and obviously Sean Feld with the Little Red Feather with McKagan said that they were going to be sending, but I talked to David Donk just now, and he said Ricardo Santana is really going to have to want the lead in order to get it from Yummy Bear today. So I thought some really interesting insight from the connections on the 2.
Gabby, thank you. So it looks like Yummy Bear from that inside post is going to try and press the situation on the front end. Here we go. Race 8 from Saratoga. Larry Colmus with the call.
They're off. Yummy Bear started quickly and goes out to the early lead with competition from McKagan, Mascarello, and right there on the inside too is Cluntia. So it's these 4 who will take them into that turn, and McKagan will sit back and sit in 4th into that turn as Mascarello goes a bit wide. Then comes Leave Him at the Gate, followed by Honor Up and Royal Blessing, Man of Fire, and Catch a Cab at the back of the pack as they make their way to the backstretch. It's Yummy Bear in front, 23.23 the opening quarter mile. 3/4 of a length lead over Cluntia running in 2nd position. McKagan and Mascarello heads apart right behind them. Then Leave Him at the Gate. Honor Up is back there in 6th, 5 lengths off the lead, clear of Royal Blessing, Catch a Cab on the outside, and Man of Fire who's down toward the inside. So they continue up the backstretch, all in pursuit of Yummy Bear and Eric Consell. They've gone 47.8 for the first half mile. Cluntia and Arad Ortiz just a half length behind, racing for the far turn. Then Mascarello, McKagan on the inside. Leave Him at the Gate is next. Honor Up is going to go outside of horses with 3 lengths to make up, but it's beginning to move. Then Royal Blessing, Catch a Cab, and Man of Fire on the inside. Around the far turn they go. Yummy Bear, Cluntia, Mascarello. A 4-wide trip for Honor Up. McKagan cuts the corner in 5th. Leave Him at the Gate is 6th. Royal Blessing, Man of Fire, and Catch a Cab coming into the final furlong. And the leader is Yummy Bear. McKagan's coming up the rail. Honor Up is on the far outside. Mascarello's in it too. Leave Him at the Gate is trying to close in too. It's wide open coming to the final 16th. Who's it going to be? McKagan coming up the rail. Here comes Leave Him at the Gate on the outside. He got there. Leave Him at the Gate over McKagan, Man of Fire, and Honor Up in 136.96.
Leave Him at the Gate from off the pace. Leah Geramati, Rajiv Maragh with the win here in the 8th at 16-1.
The shortest trip home is along the rail for Leave Him at the Gate. They went very fast up front, set up for a close. A lot of horses tried to finish on the outside. Lost ground in doing so. Not Leave Him at the Gate, the 4-horse.
No, this horse who ran very well last time out, liking the turf course. Big price here. Nice ride by Rajiv Maragh. Perfect trip from McKagan. You guys were right. Did not get the lead, but came up the rail, but just came up a little bit short.
Yeah, this is very tight for 3rd, too. Take nothing away from the winner, but I think the 7 might have clipped the 9, who got a perfect trip in here for 3rd. So you're going to get a nice little try here 4, 6, and 7. And this is going to spice up the late pick 5 and the pick 4. And listen, last time she ran over a yielding racetrack at 31-1, Greg, she ran second. That light little shower might have helped her just enough.
And it's going to play huge in our exotics today, including that Naira Bets late pick 5, as Paul alluded to, 16-1. And there is Leah Giramati getting hugs all around. And congratulations, picture time with his 5-year-old son of Kitten's Joy, running big closing best to get to the wire first at a big price. So there she is. Leah Giramati, well done here. Third off a short layoff here with this runner who had been 0 for 5 at Saratoga coming in. But as Paul mentioned, that was a yielding turf course back on the 25th of July. Ran second here and today gets the win. Let's go to Maggie for more.
Here with winning rider Rajiv Maragh. And Rajiv, this horse, Leave Him at the Gate, ran really well last time here at the spot. How much confidence did you have going into today?
Well, I thought if he could duplicate that race, it'd be tough today. Last time was my first time riding him, and he ran so good, gave me a lot of confidence in him. Just hoping to get a good trip today, and he delivered.
And last time kind of had a similar inside-y trip. He's a horse that seems very comfortable running inside of horses.
Yeah, typical turf horse. You get him covered up and he relaxes. Just want to save ground early, and when it was time to go, put him in the clear, and he just ate up the ground.
Now, obviously, I am good friends with trainer Leah Giramati, but how cool is it to win for Leah?
Oh, Leah is such a great trainer, and she's always been so supportive of me, so whenever I can win for her, it really makes it like a team effort and come together and have fun together.
You do. Raj, excellent ride. Congratulations here with Leave Him at the Gate.
Thank you.
He didn't necessarily leave him at the gate, guys, but he left him at the wire.
And that's what matters most to get you in the winner's circle here. Leave Him at the Gate, 16-1, Leah Giramati. There she is, Alan Jerkins, the late Alan Jerkins, the chief, so important in her career, coming up as a trainer, helping her believe that she could do this as well. And winning here at the premier meet in the entire country with son of Kitten's Joy here, winning for just the 3rd time in 24 career starts. This horse was just 1 for 19 on the turf coming in.
He was. Look, he had many opportunities at this same condition. Couldn't get it done, 10 or 11 to be exact, but probably was hampered by slow paces in a couple of his races. And getting back to the 2 turns, I think, made the difference.
We're going to take a break in the action. Leave Him at the Gates with the victory. We'll be back with the prices in just a moment. Wonder Gadot out on the track early this morning, working towards facing the boys in the Midsummer Derby in the Travers. We'll have the latest when we come back on Saratoga Live.
This graded stakes winner and multiple Grade 1 performer by Tapit has become one of the nation's leading sires of 2-year-olds. Ranked number 1 in his crop by number of winners, he sired 11 stakes horses in 2017, including graded stakes winners Wild Shot and Oklahoma Derby winner Untrapped. At the sales, his yearlings have sold up to $480,000. Trap Shot, standing at Claiborne Farm.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets. Rushes out of there to take the lead. It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
Bayern turning for home in front. Coast of New York on the outside. California Grove is third. Shared Belief laboring back here in fifth. 1 furlong to run. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Grove on the outside. The 3 of them come to the wire. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Grove. Here's the finish. Bayern, Bayern holds on.
Back on Saratoga Live. Sparkly Tag watching his horses there out in the morning. Of course, Kentucky Derby winning trainer at Funny Side. 8th in the books. And it goes to Leave 'em at the gate, 16-1. Let's go to Gabby Gaudet.
Greg, I'm multitasking here as we're holding the umbrella and talking, singing in the rain, whatever it might be. But Leah, congratulations here. Were you doing the lean? Did you think that you were going to get up?
That's what no, I actually didn't. I thought maybe he was stuck behind there a little too long. And boy, when he got clear, even then, I thought he might just kind of flatten out. But he dug in, he's stretched out, and very exciting, a real nail biter.
Were you happy that there was a little bit of give in the ground today, considering how well he ran over the yielding going last time out?
Yes, I thought the surface was going to be perfect. I'm really glad that it didn't come off the grass and the rain held off, because that would have, I thought the turf would be perfect for him today, and I'm not so sure about what dirt would do for him today. So it was really exciting. Everything went our way.
I know a crazy summer, that's for sure, considering the rain. But overall, how's your summer going? Obviously, this is a cherry on top of it all, though.
It is. The summer's going well. I have a small stable, but they're running well. Second win, so no duck for me, and picking up checks. So I can't be more pleased, and thank God for that. I mean, it's a...
Congratulations on this one.
Thank you.
All right, she's well off the duck and in the winner's circle here today with Leave Me at the Gate.
Yeah, already a couple of wins at the meet, and that's from limited starters. So Leah Giramati doing real nice work here this summer at Saratoga. That's how tough it is to win here. You have all the best horses coming into Saratoga, and then you got to hope, too, that the weather holds up and they don't take the race off the turf. You get a little yielding going that helps this horse as well. It all worked out right for Leave 'em at the gate.
Your smile's a little broader when you win here. It just is. It's the way it is.
Leave 'em at the gate, $35 winner to open things up here in this Naira Bets late pick 5. Let's take a look at it. Started off with Pause for the Cause at odds on. 6-1 shot, winning in leg 2, and now 16-1.
That looks tasty.
Whew. We say it all the time. You got to get involved in one of the best bets, if not the best bet in racing. The Naira Bets late pick 5. You can play it with Naira Bets. Get signed up and started. The only way to play it, if you do not reside in the state of New York, is by getting signed up and started with Naira Bets, or download that Naira Bets app to get signed up as well. Our feature race, it is the Skidmores. The rain coming down again, so this turf course may even have a little more give in it by the time the gates open for our feature race here. 5.5 on the turf. And Swamp Rat opens up as a 7-5 favorite for trainer Phil Gleaves. Won the debut back at Belmont on June the 17th.
Not surprising, in my opinion. Swamp Rat ran really well that day, showed a heck of a lot of finish. He is shortening up from 6 furlongs to 5.5 furlongs, and he didn't show a lot of speed, but it was his first start. Look for him to improve, get a better position earlier than he got in his debut. I think he's going to be tough.
Our feature race, the Skidmore, for 2-year-olds sprinting on the turf. That is coming up next. Rajiv Maragh, he'll be on board, yes and yes, stablemate of Swamp Rat. We'll have some jock talk with Rajiv when we come back.
Visit Rivers Casino and Resort, upstate New York's ultimate entertainment destination, with live table game action and the hottest new slots paying out millions. Book your luxury waterfront room or suite at upstate New York's premier resort, the Landing Hotel at Rivers Casino and Resort.
Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets. Rushes out of there to take the lead. It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
Wonder Godot and John Velasquez have been leading since the very early strides, and they turn into the stretch. Ahead by a century in futile pursuit. Well back in third is Cooler Mike. It's Wonder Godot put to a drive, and John Velasquez is under a mostly line drive here on a sultry July night in Fort Erie. Wonder Godot was more than brilliant. She was simply wonderful.
Wonder Godot, she's already wrapped up some honors, I believe, in Canada with the performance she's put forth. She beat the boys twice there. Now she's trying to go for 3-year-old filly championship that many believe Monomoy Girl has already wrapped up. But if she can step up, beat the boys in the Travers, she could be tough. She was working this morning.
Yeah, full disclosure, those races in Canada are restricted against Canadian breds. What she's attempting to do in the Travers is about the only thing that can make you question whether you're going to vote for Monomoy Girl or her for the champion at the end of the year.
Filly has not won the Travers since 1915. No filly has even competed in the race since Devona Dale back in 1979, but she has beat the boys twice again, winning the first 2 legs of the Canadian Triple Crown. Now she will try and beat the boys here in the States in one of the most prestigious 3-year-old races we have in this game. Here's a look at the field for the Run Happy Travers. Good Magic, Haskell winner, lining up, trying to get Chad Brown a race that he covets more than any other race, including even the Kentucky Derby. And he'll have not only Good Magic, but Gronkowski as well as we throw it downstairs to Andy Serling and Paul LaDuca.
I want to add a name to that list that I heard mentioned as a possible star that I know Paul LaDuca is going to be extraordinarily excited about. Mendelssohn could be coming for that. And I know Mendelssohn has no bigger fan than my man Paul LaDuca here, but let's talk Jim Dandy. Tenfold who has no bigger fan than me, and Vino Rosso. I don't know if Tenfold can get it done. He's going to really have to improve off his Jim Dandy, and maybe he does. I think one horse you and I agree on, though, is Vino Rosso coming out of that race.
Yeah, it's really tough to endorse Vino Rosso coming out of that race. Like, Tenfold still has, to me, improvement. He's still a little green, and to me, he's just better than Vino Rosso. You can see right now, Tenfold is on the front end. Vino Rosso is dead last. He's just picking up the pieces as Vino Rosso. Tenfold's going to get a little goofy here. He's going to start looking around, but this is him, Andy. But he can't do this on Travers Day because he'll get destroyed. But he has the talent where he has been close to Good Magic before, so there is something there.
No, I don't disagree with that, and I think he has some room to move forward. Now, Vino Rosso, I just don't like, and I think Paul and I really agree on this, a horse like him who just completely dropped out of the race in the Jim Dandy. Yes, he came running at the end, but he was running when the race was over, and I just don't like those habits.
Yeah, you make a great point as in a habit, and I'd like to ask Tom after this. He seemed disinterested in the beginning of that race in the Jim Dandy. Dandy, you and I were on the bottom of the set, and I remember looking at you going, where is Vino Rosso? He's so far back. Then when he started getting hit and the other horses started slowing down, he made up ground. I think it's a Fool's Gold third.
Yeah, I agree.
It just didn't seem interested in the beginning of that race.
I agree. I think Fool's Gold is the way I would put it. And maybe Tom has some different thoughts. This is also a very tough field.
Yes,
You're adding Good Magic, whether it's Gronkowski, other horses in here. Mendelssohn, your favorite horse. And maybe Tom has a different thought. But I know one thing. We're all looking for the Travers. It's possible there'll be many as 13 or 14 stars, actually. And that's exciting. Without Justify, it's really going to come up a much more competitive and interesting race in a lot of ways.
Well, it's going to be a full field. By the way, the filly in there, of course, she still needs a pilot. John Velasquez has been a regular rider. He, of course, will be on Vino Rosso. The good news for Mark Casse and company, there's a jockey coming to town by the name of Mike Smith.
Oh, yeah. He knows how to win big races.
Hasn't made an official decision. Mark Casse going to make a decision on Monday, choosing between Mike Smith, Florent Giroux, and Tyler Gaffleone.
So here's the deal. In this room here at Saratoga, the Jocks room, this is the best riding colony in the country. He's not going to be without a good pilot. I don't care what that name is next to Wonder Godot.
August 25th, Travers Day, and a filly taking on the boys. We cannot wait. We have the Skidmore feature race coming up next. Swamp Rat at 2-1. Current favorite with Julien Leperoux. Impressive winner first time out. Time for a paddock report. We're going to check in with Maggie Wolfendale. It's brought to you by Hillendale Farm, now standing Curlin for $150,000.
Now, Greg, I'm a fan of both of these Phil Gleaves horses, as I did like both of them in their debuts, despite both being over 20 and 30 to 1. But Swamp Rat, for me, has actually come out of that race and done even better. And he looks bigger, he looks stronger than he had going into that race. So he's a very viable favorite here, and I can't take anything away from this son of Hat Trick. Now, moving on to the two outside horses that will be getting on the turf for the first time. Now, both of them, Chase Greatness and Sir Troubadour, broke their maidens, and Sir Troubadour winning another greatest stake on Churchill Downs main track. Churchill is a lot more forgiving of a dirt surface for a horse that might be more inclined to like the turf than our deep sandy tracks here in New York. So it's no surprise that they were able to handle that surface as opposed to Belmont and Saratoga, as we'll take a look at Chase Greatness, the son of More Than Ready, out of a Giants Causeway mare. As we heard Gabby say earlier, half to Chubby Star, who is very proficient, stakes placed on the turf, and he looks it. He is solid, he is very impressive physically, and he looks as though he'll love the grass. Moving on to number 12, Sir Troubadour. I had written in my notes when he showed up for the Tremont that he looked like he wanted the turf instead of the dirt. So he's getting it here today, which I'm pleased about. He's very, very quiet here in the paddock, which he showed a little bit more energy going into that effort too back in the Tremont, but look, he's a talented runner who has won 2 races already, arguably on his lesser preferred surface here. Guys, what do you think about Sir Troubadour getting on the grass?
You know, Maggie, it's an interesting question with him, and we were talking about some others. He's a full to Regally Ready won the Breeders' Cup Sprint, but there's 5 foals from the dam, and Regally Ready was the only one that liked the turf, so maybe he was just a bit of a freak. We'll see. Obviously going to improve. We need to talk about the 2 Phil Gleaves horses here, and I'm surprised there is that big a discrepancy in odds between the 1 Yes Yes Paul and the 8 Swamp Rat, because I think both can win. I prefer Swamp Rat, but I think it's close.
Yeah, I'm with you. You know, Yes Yes ran a giant race from behind, and I thought was very professional. Now, the other Gleaves runner was good too, and I think a lot of people are going to go back and look at the beginning. He broke a tiny bit flat-footed. It was a little bit more dramatic, and he circled horses. Now he gets Le Peru aboard. But here's the deal. One was 24 to 1, one was 36 to 1 first time out. So were those both fields that just sort of fell apart? And are we falling in love with the 1 number horse?
I don't think, you know, as far as the 1's race, Yes Yes, and we'll move on to Swamp Rat in a second. That race, the speed held up pretty well. I just thought the horse ran solidly. But he did beat Chattel, who's the number 6 here, who has not done any running since then. Now, if we move on to Swamp Rat, no, that race didn't fall apart at all. In fact, he was really the only one closing in there. And I think that's what made his race, at least to me, more visually impressive.
Yeah, well, then Joyful Heart comes back to win, right? So you have a couple that have come back to run, actually, I think, 2nd and a 3rd out of that race, and then Joyful Heart won. And it was a quick field. I think 108 and change was pretty quick at that time.
Yeah, we're going to talk to Tom for a second. I do like Chase Greatness in him. We'll talk about him in a moment, though. Tom, what's up?
No, I was just going to say that these 2 horses, Swamp Rat, Yes and Yes, come out of the Phil Gleaves barn. He doesn't have a lot of horses. If you glance down at the workouts, it's pretty evident that these 2 horses probably worked against each other the last 2 times they worked. The times are almost identical on both. For Swamp Rat to be getting much more attention than Yes and Yes, because on paper, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me either, suggests that his works have been more attractive than Yes and Yes when they've worked in company.
That's an excellent point, Tom, and I think a very, very good point. Works can be so important up here. Can we move on to the 11 horse, Chase Greatness, for a second? This is a horse that's a half to Chubby Star, as a filly, who actually, for these connections, finished 2nd to Yoshida last year in a stake on Preakness Day. There's 2 turf winners from the dam. This horse was entered on the turf for its 2nd start, as Gabby was talking about with the connections. This horse's turf meant Chase Greatness, has some talent, and I like his chances going to the grass today.
Yeah, I think this is the sneaky horse in the group. You get Jose Ortiz aboard. The horse's 2nd start, I get it was over a sloppy racetrack, was game as can be, cut out all the fractions, broke a little flat-footed, and then went to the front end. Last time out, again, off slow. Needs to get out of the gate. I think maybe loading towards last will help the 11. What I do love, after a poor performance, you usually see the Ortiz brothers go somewhere else because they're trying to win races. He's sticking here.
No, that's a very good point. I agree with that. An interesting race coming up. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of questions about turf, but at the end of the day, guys, I mean, you've got 2 horses we talked about in Yes Yes and Swamp Rat particularly that have won well on grass. The other horses really haven't.
Well, here's one right here. This is going to be a big class test for the 6, Chattel, but has been on the turf twice, was at Belmont, just missed to Yes and Yes at a big number, and then came back Got on the turf again at 3-5 at Laurel, won impressively.
Yeah, kind of a disguised form because he has 4 starts, 2 on the dirt. But if you put a line through those, this horse is a nose away from being undefeated on the grass.
And just missed against a horse who's 9-1 in the one Yes and Yes. That horse 30-1 as we look at Swamp Rat, the stablemate of Yes and Yes. And very professional debut coming from off the pace, and a horse that he beat in that debut would come back and win next time out for Brian Lynch. Here is that first out effort back on June 17th.
So, Greg, you're going to love his finish here. It's very, very good. The problem is it takes him a while to get into position. He's going to have to break better. He's going to have to get better position today, which in all likelihood he will, having only started once. He's more learned and knows what to do. This is a horse that's getting over the grass very, very well.
And put that field away, Andy, pretty impressively to win by that margin.
I thought he ran very well. I like his situation, and others can comment on this, when it almost seems like a horse is running in a completely different race than all the others. Basically, they were sort of running around the track together, except for Swamp Rat, who was just picking off horses easily. I was very impressed with that performance.
Yeah, when he got that right-handed stick, he really did stride out nice. And I thought Tom's assessment was spot on, the way he was moving, going by horses. He could be tough in here. He really could be the Florida bred. And in the part that he's getting money in a stablemate, it really isn't.
I want to talk about the 12 Sir Troubadour for a second. I mean, he's the 5-2 second choice. He won a very slow edition of the Bashford Manor last time out. Yes, he has some pedigree to handle it. He's a full to Regally Ready, but geez, to me, he's a massive underlay. I mean, at least with the 11, you're getting a better price based on pedigree. This horse, who knows? I mean, this horse has one horse from the family that was a turf horse, nobody else.
How about this one? I'd rather bet the 9. The other, Steve Asmussen. How about this? They've not tried to get the 12 on the turf till now. They've tried to get the 9 on the turf twice. And by the way, the 9, I know there's some scratches, is getting played a little bit.
Well, you know, I'll say something about Sir Troubadour. It's almost like they're going to the turf because they realize he's not fast enough to compete in real stake races on the dirt after his last win. Stake win or not, it was a slow race.
So 5-2 on Sir Troubadour, and yeah, he was a graded stakes winner on dirt last time out. Yeah, it wasn't the quickest time, but can't take that away from him, and now he will make his turf debut. But we have quite a few trying the grass for the first time. Todd Pletcher has one with the 7, Steve Asmussen, and the other runner, the 9, Carter Cat, trying the turf for the first time as well, and also the 11, Chase Greatness.
Yeah, and of those horses that are trying the turf the first time, the most unlikely one to me has got to be the 9, Carter Cat. His mom was 0 for 9 on the turf. He's a first full. There's nothing to back it up. You look at a horse like Sir Troubadour, how many times do we see good turf pedigrees improve from dirt to grass? Any improvement whatsoever from the 12, Sir Troubadour, makes him the winner here.
And again, his full brother won $1.5 million over the turf. 13-time winner, including the Breeders' Cup Sprint back in 2011. So we'll see if he has an affinity for it as well, as we have a post-parade here coming up shortly. As we look at Gins and Tins, we should mention Shang of Philly, who she beat the boys over the Royal Ascot. She would have been the favorite in this race.
Agreed.
She scratched earlier in the day. Wesley Ward, of course, had a couple of horses who were also entered in here. They ran 1-2 in the Bolton Landing in Chelsea Cloisters and Stillwater Cove, so we knew they weren't going to go. But he still has Gins and Tins, the 3 in the spot, who third start of his career opened up and won by 4 lengths. We'll see him in a minute. Here is Yes and Yes for Phil Gleaves. Rajiv Maragh aboard.
1 of 2 for Phil Gleaves. Was impressive breaking his maiden first time out as Rajiv Maragh looks to win back-to-back races.
So the filly not going for Wesley Ward. Shang. She was a scratch. He will send out this 2-year-old son of Scat Daddy, though. Gins and Tins with Eric Consell.
He's got early speed, but would have to improve off of his recent win.
Stay on the grind. Here's another one trying the turf for the first time. This one for James Ferrara with Junior Alvarado.
Has speed on the dirt, but going to have to really move up. A very strong turf sprinting second dam, however.
Chattel, a nose away from being perfect in 2 turf starts for Brandon McFarlane with Kendrick Carmouche.
You make a good point there. He's run well on both of his turf starts, so maybe take a little flyer to throw in at 28-1.
Todd Pletcher sending out a son of Quality Road. It will get on the turf for the first time. John Velasquez aboard Good.
You get a turf influence with Quality Road the sire, but really none on the dam side, and a horse that would need to improve.
Our favorite, the 8, and there is Swamp Rat for Phil Gleaves. Julian Leperoux aboard.
Yeah, the son of Hat-Trick, very impressive in his debut. 24-1. Not going to get that today, 2-1.
Paul mentioned Steve Asmussen was trying to get Carter Cat on the turf each of the last 2 starts. They were rained out. Luis Saez aboard today, and they get grass.
You get a turf sire and tail of the Cat, and from the 2nd generation, the dam, you have a horse named Yates Black Cat who won over $500,000 in the grass.
Here's Chase Greatness, first time on the turf as well for the son of More Than Ready for Horacio de Paz.
Has turf pedigree, strong pedigree to move forward in the grass, and if he can do that, he can win.
And Sir Troubadour, turf debut for the winner of the Grade 3 Bashford Manor at Churchill for Steve Asmussen.
Just like the 11, he's a son of More Than Ready. And like you guys said, he's got that good pedigree to transfer that dirt form into grass form.
5-2 on the board, but slightly favored. It remains the 8 Swamp Rat at that same price. We're going to take a break in the action. There's Swamp Rat stablemate. Yes and yes, Rajiv Maragh will be aboard. Jock Talk with Rajiv coming up when we return.
How do New York breds perform? They win in world-class company. From Grade 1 races in Dubai, where New York sired, New York bred Mind Your Biscuits won the Golden Shaheen for a 2nd time, to Belmont adding to his status as the richest New York bred with a close 2nd in the Met Mile. The Belmont Festival saw 2 more New York breds become millionaires. 4-star Crook in the New York Stakes and world record setter Disco Partner with a repeat victory in the Jaipur. New York breds, get with the program.
Welcome back to Saratoga Live, and we're standing up here in the box seats and joined by trainer Phil Gleaves, who sends out a pair in here, and one of them being the favorite right now in Swamp Rat. And Phil, we were kind of talking about this off air. Are you surprised by the discrepancy in odds between both of your runners?
I am a little bit, Gabby, because I know they're both very close in ability, and also their buyers were close in their first race, so it both got a 72. Their sheet numbers were very close, so it's interesting that one's 8-1 and one's 5-2.
Now, Swamp Rat actually takes a little bit of a cut back in distance to 5.5 furlongs today. How do you feel about that overall? Do you think that this is a horse that is an out-and-out sprinter?
No, Swamp Rat will go on. He'll be a middle-distance horse eventually. Most of the hat tricks will level off at around a mile and 16th, and he will as well. It's just circumstances. We had to turn him back. This is the only opportunity to run him up here at this time, but we are going to use this hopefully as a prep to the next one, the With Anticipation.
Very interesting. And yes, a horse that you're very well familiar with as you bred him yourself. What could you say about this horse, and how do you think he might like maybe a little bit of give in the ground today?
Well, he will like it a lot, because I was fortunate enough to be able to breeze both colts together on a yielding turf over in the Oklahoma, and they both liked it. Yes, probably a bit more than Swamp Rat, actually, the yielding turf. So I don't see any problems with that with Yes.
Very interesting. Thank you for telling us that information, and best of luck coming up.
Appreciate it, Gabby. Thanks.
All right, we'll head out to Maggie with a closer look, I believe, on the number 7, Good and Good.
Thanks, Gabby. Just like Phil Gleaves. Good and good. I like I like both of Phil's horses here, but good for Todd Pletcher. Yes, there isn't a screaming turf pedigree. As Andy mentioned, there's not much on paper to hint at the fact that this horse would be successful in this Skidmore. And furthermore, his trainer Todd Pletcher isn't really well known for his capabilities with his 2-year-olds in turf sprints. But watching this horse, the bounce that he has over this sealed racetrack out here in the warm-up, put together with the fact that he has a massive turf hoof, I wouldn't be surprised if he can move up on this surface change. He really looks like a turf sprinter to me. I know he's going to have to improve, and I don't think he's a likely winner, but maybe at a decent price you could get a piece of this. Another horse that I really like the warm-up of is my pick in here, number 11, Chase Greatness. Beautiful warm-up beneath Jose Ortiz. Just loved the way he framed himself up. He was enjoying this sealed track, which is usually typical of a horse who likes the turf as well. So for his first try on this surface, I think he very well may be successful here. Andy, I think you do too, right?
Hope you and I can be right together. Can we please be right together here? Well, live, I threw in your friend Lee in the double, so I got a little shot for a score. All kidding aside, with the 11 Chase Greatness, I just think he may be the one that could be the most interesting trying the grass the first time. I respect Phil Gleaves' horses too, as well, as Maggie said, but I'm hoping this one can move forward.
Yeah, listen, like I said, this son of Morton Reddy has talent. That second race was very impressive to me, beating Carter Cat. He just needs to get out of the gate. His other 2 races were just victimized by not getting out of the gate. His first race, he even made a ton of ground when Stupefy won that race. If he can just somewhat get out of the gate and settle, I think he finishes in here.
Doesn't it feel like this is just the surface they've wanted to run him on all along?
100%, 100%.
Yeah. Greg, the 9 Carter Cat, can he like the turf as well?
Well, we'll find out. His connections, if we've talked about, been trying to get him on the grass. This will be the 3rd time, and now 3rd time, maybe the charm that they finally do get on the lawn. 7-1. Let's not forget who's still in this race. Wesley Ward still has a runner in here. He would have had the favorite with Shang. She is scratched earlier. He still has Gins and Tins, and this might be the horse who potentially is alone on the lead.
Well, I think Gins and Tins is one-dimensional in the sense that the lead is the only way Gins and Tins can win this race, so maybe he's forgotten in that regard. But they're certainly going to be trying to make the lead with him. And as far as the horse that Andy likes, the Chase Greatness, he's got to show that he can break from the gate. 3 tries, hasn't done it well yet. After a little while, it's not just he hasn't learned, it's become a habit.
Loading up for our feature race here, the Skidmore 2-year-old colts. Going 5.5 furlongs on the turf. There's big long shot Stay on the Grind. He too making his turf debut this afternoon for James Ferraro. Favoritism now has gone back to the 12 horse here, Sir Troubadour, for trainer Steve Asmussen. From that outside post, turf debut for the son of More Than Ready. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of New York Racing for the call. Here's Larry Colmus.
Just a few left to load in the starting gate here, as Stay on the Grind is coming up to his spot in the starting gate. Chase Greatness has gone in. Stay on the Grind now goes into the gate. And the last one is Sir Troubadour after Chattel goes into the starting gate. And acting up a bit there is Good. John Velasquez is off of Good. And Jose Ortiz is also off of Chase Greatness. Both look like they're getting back aboard, though. And the last one to come up will be Sir Troubadour, and we'll be ready for a start. They're all in line. They're off in the Skidmore, and a rough beginning there for Stay on the Grind. It is Gins and Tins up and after the early lead, with Sir Troubadour on the outside away running in 2nd position. And then it's Carter Cat in 3rd. Yes and Yes on the inside is 4th. Chattel is 5th. Chase Greatness 6th on the outside, 5 lengths off the lead and 5 clear of Swamp Rat. Then Good and Stay on the Grind. They're moving for the far turn. Gins and Tins in front through a 21.84 opening quarter mile. Pressed by Sir Troubadour on the outside. These two right together on the lead. Yes and Yes is 2 lengths off of them. Then Chattel to the inside. Chase Greatness outside of horses, 4 lengths to make up. Then it's Carter Cat and Swamp Rat. They're into the stretch. And Gins and Tins trying to hold off Sir Troubadour. Shifting ground there was Chase Greatness on the outside of Yes and Yes. And then it's Carter Cat toward the inside. They're into the final furlong. And now Chattel takes the lead and takes off. Chattel pulling away from Gins and Tins. Late move Swamp Rat, but it's Chattel. 22-1, and he was strong today. And then came Swamp Rat, followed by a photo between Good Good and Gins and Tins in 103.51.
Chattel at 22-1. We mentioned he'd only been a nose from Perfection at 2 turf starts. Now he gets his second win on the grass.
Yeah, a lot going on this race. Chattel had a very good trip and plenty of pace to run at. The 11-horse Chase Greatness down lane right there. You can see with that white face on the outside, lays in, has to get restarted. In a short race like this, that costs you. You're going to have no chance at that point. And as far as our other favorite, Swamp Rat, the 8, if you can't get good position early going 5.5 on the grass, this is what you're going to get. A good-looking finish, but not enough ground.
This is a decisive win by Chattel, and as Tom said, and I agree, got a terrific trip, but he won so easily. I don't know how much the role the trip played in it. He didn't run nearly as well when he broke his maiden last time, but he lost by a nose to Yes, Yes, and he seemed to, Yes and Yes, he seemed to improve on that. He loved the going out there, Paul.
Wow, he really did, and like it just shows you he was dominant. I mean, like he was in between horses, and he blew this field away. The 7-horse was in the middle of the racetrack flying. I don't know where Good was on the backside. I'd like to see this replay because he seemed like he just showed up really late for 4th. But no doubt about the winner here. And again, if you're alive in any kind of exotic or pick 4 or pick 5s, you're in for a nice little score.
There could well be horses not covered in this pick 5, and maybe the $150,000 will come into play, the guarantee.
Let's go to Maggie Wolfendale with Kendrick Carmouche.
And as soon as Kendrick pulled up here, guys, he said, wow, I got a perfect trip, right, Kendrick? I mean, Chattel, also, kudos to the horse. He was there when you called upon him.
Oh, he ran so often. You know, I got a good break, and, you know, Mirage kind of wanted the position going down the backside, and I slowly eased him back, and I was sitting in the perfect spot. I saw Mirage tip out around the turn at the quarter pole, and I see Santana horse not giving him what he wanted, and I split him. When I split him, he was ready to run. I mean, thank God for the connections and for Brandon. I just really appreciate that they came to me at Saratoga from Maryland, and we got the job done.
I was going to say, this is a true Mid-Atlantic connection here with Brandon McFarland. He was actually teasing me on Facebook that I didn't pick his horse when he ran second really well at Belmont, but looks as though he has a very nice turf sprinter on his hands.
Oh, yes, he do. And you know, when I warmed him up today, he just felt like he wanted to be there and run a good race. And I gave him a trip that you're supposed to give a turf sprinter, and got through, and we go into the winner's circle.
That you are, Kendrick. Job well done here. Good to see you in the winner's circle.
Thank you very much, Meg.
All right, guys. Chattel, big upset in this Skidmore. Keeping it all Mid-Atlantic out here.
We've seen horses all meet long coming in from Maryland and winning, and Kendrick Carmouche, Brandon McFarland keep it going here with Chattel at 22-1 in our feature race.
Won't be 22-1 next time. Chattel truly dominated this field. I mean, Kendrick was wrapped up the last part on Chattel, and looks like a horse that'll go further.
6, 8, 7 finish. Monster price in our feature race. 16-1 shot, and now a 22-1 shot in this Naira Bets late pick 5. We'll be back with the prices and our nightcap still to come. Stay with us.
This successful son of AP Indy has sired 6 millionaires, including Eclipse champion West Coast, a multiple Grade 1 winner and runner-up in the $16 million Pegasus World Cup. This year, Flatter is adding even more stakes winners to his outstanding record at stud. In the auction ring, Flatter topped the 2018 Phasing Tipton July Seal with a $520,000 yearly. Success on the track, success in the ring. Flatter standing at Claiborne Farm.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets. Rushes out of there to take the lead. It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
on Saratoga Live on Fox Sports 2 and other regional networks across the country. It's presented by Claiborne Farm. Monster upset in our feature race. Chattel coming in from Laurel in Maryland with a victory at 22-1. Let's go to Gabby Gaudet.
Well, Greg here in the winner's circle with the winning trainer, Brandon McFarland. And I saw you a couple days ago wandering about up here at Saratoga, and you had a lot of confidence in this horse. What gave you that confidence?
The way he's been training, he ran at Belmont, ran a good second, and just since then, he just exploded. I worked him with a couple horses the other day, and in behind just took dirt, tipped outside, and just drew away.
He drew away from the rest of the field here today. Were you expecting a performance like this, though?
I was expecting to win, but maybe not like that. It was definitely nice.
What could we maybe see from this horse in the future?
He's a Kentucky bred, Kentucky certified, maybe Kentucky Downs. Depending on what's going on, he's not Breeders' Cup nominated, but we'll see.
And Brandon, talk a little bit about your background. Obviously, coming up from the Mid-Atlantic, this horse has been training down in Maryland. But for those of us who are first tuning in, talk a little bit about your background and how you got into here.
Well, I worked with Dane Kabisky for years, 6 years, and then after 6 years, just kind of went on my own. And my owner, David Baxter, he gave me my first 2 horses and gave me a shot with this horse, and everything's been good since.
Owners are very important, and good owners.
You need owners.
Well, congratulations on this one, Brandon.
Again.
All right, happy connections here in the winner's circle, Greg.
Well, it's got to feel incredibly sweet. What a win, what a moment for Brandon McFarland, and a win with an owner who gave you the first couple of horses as you start now, too.
I like his attitude. You know, that's pure, what you're looking at right there. Not one of those guys that is used to all these all the time, and that's my kind of guy. 9 to 5er, puts his time in and wins a big race like that. Very deserving.
You still remember your first stakes win?
I remember my first stakes win, Fire the Shot, 1987, Louisiana Downs. The Gator, not the dance. That was the name of the race.
$47. I have a feeling Brandon McFarland's going to remember this one for the rest of his life here. What a moment here. And let's take a look at this Naira Bets late pick 5 follow along. Someone, if they hit this, going to remember this for the rest of their life. 160,000 in the pool, and there's a chance someone is going to take down this entire thing. There's a chance no one is going to hit it as well after the numbers that we have seen come in. Still quite a few horses that were results in this not getting hit this afternoon. We'll tell you that in just a moment. Well, the jockey you're about to meet, there's a time he was out injured. He missed 16 months of racing action. During that time, he had a little bit of time to reflect on what was really important to him, what he wanted to do, and all roads led back to continuing to be a jockey. Here's Jock Talk with Rajiv Maragh.
Wow, my favorite win, I would have to say, was my first Breeders' Cup win on Caleb's Posse. It was like my biggest dream come true. I've always been such a big fan of the Breeders' Cup, and before I started riding, I always said that I wanted to be there one day, so that was really such an enjoyable win for me. My favorite part is I'm living my dream. I'm getting to do something that I love to do every day and having fun. And it never feels like work for me. And I think that's something that I think is a dream come true, and it makes it so much exciting for me. My mom calls me Raji Poo. Well, nobody else really has a nickname for me. Well, there is a nickname, but it's not really appropriate, so I'm not going to say it. Real Madrid is the team that I support as a sport team. I follow them pretty strongly. Yeah, so I watch Homeland as my TV show. I watch a lot of TV shows that I like. Homeland and Shameless, I would say, would be 2 of my top choices. And if I'm going for another comedy, I like Modern Family. So those are my TV shows. I can't live without my wife. Angie, yes, I can't live without her.
He usually has a smile on his face when you see him. He had a winner earlier on our show. This is a tweet from him earlier today. I always consider myself lucky and fortunate when the saddle flips over during the middle of a breeze and I miraculously didn't fall off. I'm able to laugh about it, jump back on the next horse. Wow, it rode like this for 3/4 of a mile until the outrider caught up to this horse. That had to be painful.
No saddle, no stirrups, bareback. Look, he'll be soaking in the bathtub tonight.
But he'll be doing so with a smile after his big win on Leave 'em at the Gate back in race number 8 on the card. Rajiv Maragh, well done. We're going to take a break in the action. We will be back. Our nightcap still to come. And there are a few horses not covered in the Pick 5. We'll tell you who they are when we come back.
His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Welcome back to Saratoga Live. And of course, every morning up here at Saratoga is a very busy morning, but it was a very busy morning for the Mark Casse barn as the fun started early, actually before dawn, as Wonder Godot, the filly that is pointed towards the Travers, the first filly to try to win the Travers in the first time since 1915. For more, we checked in with Mark Casse and a look at his stable stars. The Mark Casse barn is prepping for a big second half of the meet at Saratoga. Leading the charge is Wonder Godot, who will attempt to be the first filly to win the Travers since 1915. A decision that's created a lot of buzz, but Casse says there are multiple factors as to why the Travers is a better option than the Alabama.
We think we have an outstanding filly. She's going to get 5 pounds. That was one thing that really made us seriously look at it. It gave us an extra week off of her last start, and we're trying to make history.
A lot has been said about her improvement with the blinker change, but Casse thinks it's more so due to the distance, as she is more of a one-pace type of filly that can run all day. Sticking to Travers news, Flame Away, the overachiever of the barn, will skip the Travers and head to Pennsylvania for the Smarty Jones on the same day. The reason behind this is that the 1 1/16 seems better suitable for this horse than the 1 1/4 in the Travers. If you were to have asked Mark Casse last year who was the most promising 2-year-old in the barn, he would have said this guy, Telekinesis. Although he hasn't shown this star power yet, Casse believes he'll break through as he turns back in distance in the Allen Jerkins.
He's a superstar. I don't think anybody's seen the real Telekinesis yet.
Catherine the Great was an impressive winner opening weekend in the Schuylerville and delivered to the expectations the connection set for her. Casse has taken it easy with her immediately following the race, but now starting to crank her up, hoping for a crescendo in the spinaway. The long-term goal will be the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. Dreammaker was originally scheduled to run in the Sanford before being pointed to the Saratoga Special. He had to miss both of those due to a minor foot issue and overall just not acting like his usual self. His recent workout shows that he's back on track, and the plan going forward is the hopeful.
In the last 2 years since Classic Empire, was probably the most impressive 2-year-old winner we've had. Reminded me a lot of Classic Empire. Classic Empire got in a lot of trouble first time out and came with a big run. That's what Dreammaker did at Churchill. We were hoping to run him here opening day, I think, or maybe the second day in the Sanford. Didn't really care. I thought he came up here, wasn't himself, had a little issue with a foot, gave him a little break. He had a tremendous work the other day, and we're aiming for the hopeful. I think that he's the real deal.
Well, it was a lot of fun catching up with Mark about some of his stable stars, that's for sure, and a lot of his promising 2-year-olds. So, Greg, it's safe to say that all eyes will definitely be on Wonder Godot as she points to the Travers, but also even on Wild Medaglia d'Oro, who's actually running in a maiden special weight tomorrow. Mark was talking about some of his promising 2-year-olds, and that might be one of them.
Well, we will keep our eyes out. Looks like it could be a great second half of the meet for the Mark Casse barn. And, of course, everyone intrigued to see the filly going against the boys in the Travers. Nightcap, here's a look at the field. Current odds, 6 furlongs, $20,000 maiden claiming race. American Rule used to be with Bob Baffert for 1 start. This will be start number 2 now in the Steve Asmussen barn. Blinkers come off today. By the way, real quick, 4 horses not covered in the Naira Bets late pick 5. The 2, 4, 5, and 11. Those horses win. We have a massive carryover into the pick 5 tomorrow.
So the rain is coming down again, Greg, and you've watched me look over my shoulder about 10 times over the last 5 minutes. The track was sealed after the 8th race. Completely sealed, which is what you do when the rain is coming. But then just about 5 minutes ago, they opened the track back up. You're looking at it right there. The track has now been opened back up, and here comes the rain. I don't think they counted on this rain coming back so quickly.
All right, we're going to check in right now with Maggie Wolfendale. It's time for a Paddock Report. It's brought to you by Hillendale Farm, now standing Curlin for $150,000. Maggie?
Greg, thanks. I wish they had left the track sealed for the outside runner that I'll get to in just a second, as we'll begin discussions, though, with number 1 coming back off a layoff and trainer change is American Rule, as the blinkers come off after he chased very wide in debut at Santa Anita as a 2-year-old, late 2-year-old, I should say. And that race was won by Kanthaka, who has been a decent runner for trainer Jerry Hollendorfer. Look, this is the best-looking horse in this field. Obviously, there's some issues, and that's why we see him dropping to the $20,000 claiming tag, lowest you can run here as far as maidens are concerned. I like him in the paddock, but we'll see. Whatever's kept him away from the races, will that be a factor today? Moving on to number 9, that is Via Castana, a horse who faced some really, really tough New York fields over the fall and winter time, as he'll come back off of a layoff. Now, we see Talbot Hall still riding this horse, Howell still riding this horse, who is Pat Quick's exercise rider. So he obviously knows this horse very well as far as getting on him in the mornings. He does come back in here looking fit, but this is a suspicious drop as well off the bench. Now, the horse that I was alluding to, hoping that they had kept it sealed, was one that's going from turf to dirt here, Hustle and Heart. he would have really appreciated if this track was sealed. I think he's a horse that likes something hard and kind of rattling under his feet, as he does look a bit more turf inclined. But on the flip side of that, he looks fantastic in the third start of his career. He's extremely fit here. The blinkers go on for turning back in distance here. Just a shortcut, but overall, in the face of a possible suspicious favorite here, Andy, I like Hustle and Heart.
It is a suspicious favorite, the One American Rule. You have a horse, the One American Rule. And by the way, they are sealing the track. It is good and sealed, so the track will be sealed. American Rule finished a decent fifth behind Canthaco, came back and won the San Vicente in his next start. He later won the Las Barreras. He's a very talented sprinter for West Point Stables. Obviously, things have gone badly awry since then, Paul, to be running for $20,000. But, you know, listen, they're trying to win races. It's Saratoga. You want to win races. There is a real question mark with him, but he's the worst to beat.
Well, yeah, he is. It is a giant question mark. You don't want to pay $200,000 for a horse, then wait all the way from December 2010 to drop him in for $20,000. Now, do you want to win races at Saratoga? Yes. But I don't think you want to win a $20,000 race with this type of horse. Yeah. But like you said, this Ridgeling runs back to that race. He's going to be a handful.
Yeah, I mean, there's only one horse in this race that can beat him if they all run their best races, and that's the horse Maggie mentioned, the 9 Via Castanga. This horse runs his second race, and I understand you've got a rider, Talbot Howell, who's not that experienced. He did win a race on our show back at Belmont. All he has to do is hold on. The horse ran an 85 buyer, and he finished just behind a horse, Switzerland, who subsequently won a Great Stake. Now, he's dropping too in the rider, but maybe the rider's on there to keep people away from the horse, and maybe he'll run the good race and win.
I could not agree more. Put it this way, Tommy T in Switzerland would beat this field by 15 lengths.
Be a lap.
Yeah, literally. And he was close enough to them. You make a great point. You go back 2 back. Now, maybe he's worth the drop because, look, they only paid $17,000 for him. It's more logical.
Good point. Yeah, obviously, his other 2 races are bad.
Yes,
but there's ability in there somewhere is what we're trying to point out, and he's 8-1 right now. Now, as far as Hustle and Heart, okay, he's a funny situation. The dam has produced really nothing. The second dam of hers, a horse named Dream Supreme, who actually broke her maiden first time at Saratoga with a very big figure. She won the test and the ballerina as a 3-year-old the same season for trainer Bill Mott, and she was a Steinbrenner horse. While she was a superior dirt horse, her production have all been turf horses, and I think that's where Gary Gulla's thoughts were. This is a bit of a desperation move, and 7-2 is a bad price, but Gary Gulla is pretty good turf the dirt with sprinters.
He is very good. He's 36% on that move. He puts the blinkers on. I do love a turf horse, like Maggie even said, that, hey, maybe the horse is a little turf. Gets the complete outside, so he can sort of avoid the dirt in his face to begin with.
He better be a dirt horse, though, because
right?
his turf races were nothing to write home about. He's sort of the interesting horse. He has no value at 7-2 in here. I mean, that's a very short price.
But he is, okay, well, as we go upstairs, if you're an RA or a root against her and you want that pick 5 carryover, he's probably the most logical horse to carry over the pick 5.
I would never root for a $136,000 carryover the Naira Bets late pick 5. Not me, guys.
I'm sorry. I want someone who's alive to hit this thing. Again, the 2, 4, 5, and 11.
Be a little selfish.
2, 4, 5, and 11. Carry it. I want to see it get hit.
Be a little selfish so you can participate tomorrow.
You can still participate tomorrow.
Anyhow, we'll see. Hey, let's get back to what's going on with this racetrack. So let's play this track as a fast track. They just came back on. They sealed it. We showed it on the TV. And a sealed track basically looks like a highway. It's paved down, pushed down hard. The rain comes right off it. Like that. But 10 minutes ago, it was open. And when it's open, the rain gets into the dirt. It didn't rain hard enough at that time for it to be a problem, but they did come back on and they sealed it, which was, in my opinion, the right thing to do. And there you can see the 2 differences of the tracks. Before the tractors are going over it, that is an open racetrack. And they just went over it about 5 minutes ago, and they sealed it back up. Tight and fast is how you should handicap this race.
Okay, so there it is, changing as we speak. The condition here for the finale on this Friday at Saratoga. 6 furlongs, $20,000 maiden claiming race, a good and sealed racetrack, an American Rule. The 1-horse our favorite. We'll be back.
This proven son of Giants Causeway has sired 4 millionaires, including Claiborne Farm stallion Lee. Recent top runners include 4-time graded stakes winner Miss Sky Warrior, 3-time graded stakes winner Sharp Samurai, multiple stakes winner Bal Harbor, and Dubai Group 3 winner Shamal Nibras. Last year, his 2-year-old sold up to $540,000, while his yearlings fetched up to a whopping $575,000. First Samurai, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Welcome back to Saratoga Live. The rain is starting to fall here, actually. We're going to be down in the Paddock set. Paul Duke and I, along, of course, with Gabby Gadet and Maggie Wolfendale, take us through to the end of the show. You see Leah Giamatti, a nice win earlier today for her, leave him at the gate, and she's going to try to get her second win of the day in today's last race, Paul.
Yeah, she's got the 4 Buster Brown Boy and a big long shot in here at 27-1, and you can see the horse circling on the paddock. Now, the rain has stopped, but I mean, these kind of races here, Andy, it's really always tough to tell what's going to happen, who's going to go to the front end, because they're usually the most dangerous types, the ones that get to the lead in these races.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, with a horse like American Rule, the favorite, they're going to have to want to come busting out of the gate. You got the rail position. You're theoretically riding the best horse. You want to come busting out there. And we're looking, of course, at Mysterio, the horse we mentioned for Leah Giamatti. She actually has 2. She has Buster Brown Boy, who going to try to bust the pick 5 up, and the pick 6 already busted up. And Mysterio, and you know, the one thing about Mysterio, I'll say, the one dirt race was on a sloppy, you got a sloppy sealed, but neither of these horses have really done any running in their races.
Well, he was 9 wide. I mean, he did a little bit of running, so I can give the 5 a little bit of a look in here. Why not? I mean, when you look at the body of this field, are you projecting the 1 is dropping down? There could be something wrong there. The 3 metaphorical, is that horse going to go to the front end? I have a feeling that horse might not run. Is the 11 the safest horse or the 8 the safest horse?
Well, no, I think if Via Castagna and American Rule don't run, isn't the 10, the Camo, the likeliest winner here? I mean, he's had his chances. But, I mean, he's just consistently running buyer figures in the 50s to 60 range. And if the 1 and 9, the 2 horses, of course, American Rule as well as Via Castagna, don't show up, he'll probably get it done. But Hot Mesa, the 8 you mentioned, he has some back races, but man, his race 2 back in the mud was bad.
It was bad. He didn't break well, but then he just completely stopped. And to get back to your 10, of all the horses in here, we talked about this before, and it's actually worked at this meet. Those type of horses that have been 2nd and 3rd, they've won at this meet because they've been the closest and probably been in the best form, and we're sort of projecting they'll get beat. Where the horse to beat in here is the 10 off the record. You're right.
Yeah, if in fact the horse don't show up, I still maintain that Via Castagna is the right horse to make a few dollars on at 9-1.
100%.
I'm not saying he's a likely winner by any stretch, but I really don't think he's 10% to win this race.
If it was not Talbot Howell, nothing against Talbot. If it was not Patrick Quick, nothing against Patrick because he can train. This horse would not be 8-1. If this was even, say, Todd Pletcher and Tyler Gaffalione or somebody like that, this horse would be 7-2.
I agree, and maybe you've got an ex-guy who gallops, as Maggie was saying, he gallops in the morning for the trainer. Maybe the thinking is, why don't we just give him a shot in the horse and the horse can run? Exactly. I mean, the jockey's not going to come to play. We'll see if that's the case as the horses are heading out the track. Sam the Bugler with the call to post for the horse in the last race, and Paul, the 1 American Rule, is going to come out there. And it's funny, he's 3-2 now. He's going to drop down here, but I ended up scratching into him on top. I didn't want to pick him on top. I tried some goofy horse. I don't mind. If I had to do over again, I might have thrown the 9 Via Castagna on top. But American Rule is the horse to beat, no matter how you cut it.
Yeah, he really is. He comes out of the Bob Baffert barn. He's got that race at Santa Anita, and it just looks maybe a little dressed up, but again, it looks so good on paper. And listen, Gary and Mary West, who own this son of Bernardini, they have plenty of horses, so they can afford to maybe drop this horse down. That could be the other angle here.
It's interesting. He's been stabled at Churchill Downs until just a few days ago, so they shipped him there. And there is the 1 American Rule. Heading out for Gary Mary West, Steve Asmussen, and Ricardo Santana.
2-1. The 2 will be Pay the Price. David Canizzo and Jose Lescano. This is a son of Union Rags. 3rd last time out. Not an awful 21-1 shot.
There he is. There's the 2 Pay the Price that Paul was just mentioning, of course. Yeah, he's a big price here, Dave Canizzo. He did mention he broke to the gate before his last start. We actually saw David. He was heading out. There's the 3 Metaphorical. He's going out for Zayat Stables, Chad Summers.
Yeah, the next one you'll see will be Buster Brown Boy. We talked about him earlier. He was 61-1 and 41-1. The last 2. The 5 Mysterio, the 4 Buster Brown Boy is going to be coming out a little later. This is the other Leah Giamatti runner. Has to improve. 0 for 5, no placings.
Waiting on the number 8 Hot Mesa. Going out for Eddie Barker, a horse that has early races. His fast track races are better, but the moisture may not help him. Junior Alvarado has the mount.
Yeah, I'm with you. The 9 is going to come out. The son of Trapshot. This is the horse that Andy and I think, listen, at 10-1, might not take a shot with. And you do get Talbot Howell aboard.
Number 10, the Camo, Gary Contessa. Gary's been having been on a good bit of a good run lately, and I guess Joel Rosario has the mount. Oh no, Irad Ortiz, excuse me, picked up the mount on the Camo.
11's going to be Hustle and Heart. This is one of the horses that will carry over your pick 5, and looks okay in the racetrack. 9-2. Gary Gullo is a better trainer on dirt. 36% on this move. Got a shot.
Gary Gullo is really one of the sort of under-the-radar trainers in New York. He's a trainer, and there's the 4 Buster Brown boy, Pablo Fregoso, looking for his first win of the meet, riding for Leah Giamatti. Just to finish the thought quickly on Gary Gullo, any trainer that has been around as long as Gary Gullo and is a consistent winner in New York like he is, Saratoga, Belmont, Aqueduct, is a very, very good trainer. And I have a lot of respect for Gary. And, of course, tomorrow is Lustgarten Day here for the pancreatic cancer research. Day, yeah. And his very, very close friend, Dominic Lucio, a trainer who passed away a few years ago, will be having a day for that. And there'll be a trainer signing. You can pose with the Triple Crown Trophy. So a lot of good stuff for that, for a very good cause. Maggie Wolfendale has some more for us.
That's right, Andy, and make sure everybody you're wearing your purple for the Lustgarten Foundation Day here, as we'll send them postward as we got some thunder and lightning. Want to talk quickly about the Chamo. You saw him get an aggressive warm-up. He is on his toes. He is sharp here for Irad Ortiz. As Buster Brown boy, I'm hoping he does not hold up festivities here because he has been a bad actor at the gate. For everybody's sake, we need to get this race off here, guys, as we'll eventually throw it up to Larry Colmis quickly.
Get this race off.
Maggie, just to Maggie, just to touch in on the number 11, Hustle and Heart. I did wind up picking this horse. I was interested to see how he was warming up on the track. I actually really liked how he strided out in his warm-up. And, of course, sometimes we do see that horses who at least are capable on the turf take a liking to the sealed surface, Andy.
Yeah, a lot of guessing here. We'll see, and we'll find out. In fact, we know we have a carry in the pick 6, but the question is, will we have a carryover in the Naira Bets late pick 5? Larry Colmis is going to have the answer for us in just a moment.
Last couple of horses to come up to the starting gate here. Buster Brown boy moving into line. Under Pablo Fregoso coming up to stall 4. And he is backing off here. The gate crew working diligently to get him to come forward and take his spot in the starting gate. They have succeeded. And here comes Hustle and Heart, who will come up to the outside stall and complete the line here for race number 10 on today's card. He too just not too anxious to go into the starting gate here. He's gone the wrong way. Meanwhile, American Rule has gone all the way down to 3-5 on the tote board as we get Hustle and Heart to come up to this outside stall. Gate crew just about has him into line. And they've got him in there now. Ready for the start. They're all in line. They're off. Not a good start for the heavy favorite American Rule, who broke at the back of the field. It's a good start for the Chamo. Metaphorical's got speed too. Pay the price on the inside. These three out for the lead. And then it's Via Castagna and Hustle and Heart on the outside. American Rule did not break well and is 5 lengths off the lead, having gone by a few runners. Hot Mesa, Buster Brown boy to the inside. Outrunning last is Mysterio. 22.77 that first quarter mile. Pay the price. On top as the field rounds the far turn, Metaphorical is on the outside. The two of them are now dead even. Then the Chamo in third to the outside of them, and now there's 3 in a line. It's 2.5 to Via Castagna running in 4th position. And they're being followed by Hustle and Heart. Hot Mesa is moving on the outside of American Rule, who still has a lot of work to do. Coming to the top of the stretch, 47.13 the half. The Chamo on the outside has taken the lead from Metaphorical. Pay the prices down toward the inside. American Rule still has a shot, though. He's putting in a bid on the outside. The Chamo's the one to catch. American Rule lugging in, shifting ground, but still coming. coming. It is the Chamo who drifts out. American Rule is second as they come down to the wire. He's running out of time, still trying. The Chamo, American Rule. The Chamo holds on. A half length over American Rule. Mysterio came from well behind to get third. Paid the price fourth and won 13.52.
Can't get a better trip there as Irad Ortiz picks the mount on the Chamo. Gary Contessa getting the win. Perfect trip. And the favorite, not a perfect trip, Paul, for American Rule.
And he got left in the gate, and then he became really high-headed. Now you know why he's in for 20. He might have a little bit of a breathing problem or not, but you can see as the right-handed stick's going with Ricardo Santana, the one's head is getting thrown up. Why the Chamo is got the front end, got the trip. We talked about the best form of the horses, and he's been the most consistent, and he ran a consistent race.
No, he did, and a good job by Irad and Gary Contessa as well. And American Rule, not only did he blow the break, but he was green in the stretch. Yeah. It was just sort of a big mess out there. Yeah. The man of the hour, Gary Contessa, standing by with Maggie Wolfendale.
Listen, when
yes.
we win, we don't even need an umbrella.
Are you ready, Gary?
Yeah.
You ready? Okay. Yeah, exactly. We can get wet here when we're winning. But Gary, the Chamo, he seemed extra sharp today.
He was. You know, we schooled him in a paddock yesterday, and he was like a lunatic. And I said, boy, do I have him where I want him to be. He's just right, you know, and outside post helps, a little bit of moisture in the track. Everything went his way today.
And picking up Irad Ortiz, of course, helps a bit, too.
Didn't hurt at all. Didn't hurt at all.
And you have to be pleased. Having quite a nice little meet here. All the horses seem to be running well.
I am. You know, the horses have been doing really well, and they're all eating well and really enjoying Saratoga like the rest of us. So they're doing very good.
Always fun to enjoy Saratoga, and keep on enjoying. Gary, congrats here with the Chamo.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys. As he said, it never hurts to win in the rain.
I'll tell you what, long shot Mysterio getting third there. So all you need was 2 logicals, 1-2.
Yeah, so you get a little price underneath, right? And you listen, this is handicap in 101, and this I fell for it. You fall for the one like this. Listen, the one was the best. We get it. The horse got left, but the horse with the best paper form was the 10, and you get the Chamo at a good price. We'll show you the start. Now it cost the one the race, Andy, but this is maybe why he's in for 20.
Absolutely. I mean, it's hardly a shock that this horse behaved badly, so he gets left. And to be fair, I mean, Ricardo Santana did a good job after the break of hustling him into contention. You see him, and he'll get a break a little slow. He doesn't even duck in that badly. And I'm sorry, Paul, but at 3-5, breaking length and half slow, you're still supposed to get the job done. I'm going to argue, if we want to show the stretch run again, that he probably caused more problems here by lugging in a bit. If he had just kept a straight path, he'd have got right by.
Well, yeah, when the 3 try to come out and reissue a challenge,
he lugs in there.
Right there, he lugs in. He's getting high-headed because I think he's having trouble breathing. He's carrying his head high to begin with, Andy, and he looked like he was liking the racetrack, but he was just never going by Chamo.
Now, I set an over-under, and Paul took over on 7.5 as the number of people trying to claim the one American Rule. Maybe we could find out about that. We're going to take a quick break. We'll see if we can find out, but we've still got more to come. Saratoga Live is going to continue after a very short message.
His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets. Rushes out of there to take the lead. It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
Well, welcome back to Saratoga Live. We appreciate the rain for once. At least it waited until the day was pretty much over.
Yeah.
Paul LaDuca, Andy Serling down in the Paddock set here at Saratoga. The Camo, Paul.
Wow. I haven't seen a pick 4 pay that much in a while. $10,400 for a pick 4.
I had one of them.
Wow,
right
nice
short.
pick. I mean, listen, the Chamo, you get back on the pick 5, 22,000 with basically an entry that was a mortal lock, and the pick 6 carries over. So some prices today.
Yeah, no question about it. And carry over 40,530 for the pick 6. And there's the payout. I'm not sure I can do the math right now, but I'm going to say it's somewhere around 5,000, 30,000, 60,000. It's still paid value.
It did pay value. It did. Pause for a cause, and I wasn't in love with till they entered the betting for in race 6, and the horse opened 3 to 5 the entry. So then I think a lot of people singled that horse, but still to get to those other 4 horses. Some good handicap.
Listen, this is good competitive racing. Nice job. Our man Bob's away Bob. He finally gets it done. He was knocking on the door at Belmont a few days, and he gets it done. A good guy, Bob Grant, actually. And Saratoga Showdown, you can play this, of course, online for free. It's a fun way to get involved in the races. And prizes for people. You get entered into a drawing for seats, I believe, for next year's Belmont Stakes. And congratulations to our friend Bombs Away Bob. Good guy, always on Twitter, and always a nice thing to say.
Actually, that'd be awesome. Now that I hope that he wins, I want him to come visit us. I never get to meet Bob in person, but yes, great follower on Twitter, watches our show, and a great fan of our show.
Absolutely.
We appreciate that. Yeah.
Love seeing him do well. A lot of good stuff coming up tomorrow here, but also at Del Mar, right? I think Del Mar's got the Pacific Classic tomorrow, and of course we will be offering some special stuff. You're seeing the rain is falling down here at Saratoga, but. We'll see what happens overnight. One thing we knew, Paul, we knew we'd be walking home in the rain.
Yeah, it's true.
Pacific Classic, Accelerate and Pavel. That's quite a matchup.
Yeah, it is. And do you see anything else but that, honestly?
You know, Accelerate trying to win the Santa Anita Handicap, the Gold Cup, and the Pacific Classic in the same year. Did Lava Man do that?
He might have, like, a couple times. You know, the competition now, but you can't take away what Accelerate has done. He's the dominant horse now in the handicap division, but he's not facing much. I guess he's going to get his test against Pablo.
Yeah, I mean, he and Diversified feel like the leader of the older division, you know, heading towards the Classic, and obviously others going there. Pablo did run very, very well, though, to win his last start in the Stephen Foster at Churchill Downs.
No, he did. He circled the field. Regardless of what you think that field was made of, he was pretty good. And listen, they tried to progress him very, very early in his career, Andy, and I think that might have set him back. But I think now that he won that last race and got that grade 1, you know Mr. Redham, he's not afraid of any challenge at all. So he's got a big shot, this horse.
Yeah, I was sorry he actually didn't come for the Whitney. They had mentioned originally to come for the Whitney, but, you know, you support the game out west and run there. He's going to be second choice in an important race. I'm looking forward to the Pacific Coast Classic. I actually hit a pick 6 once many years ago. It was the last leg simulcast on Travers Day here, and it was the day that Bertrando beat Best Pal.
There's been some great Pacific Classics. Listen, and one of the best I ever saw is when Darren Go went by Cigar, and it will probably be the only time Jerry Bailey will ever admit he had a writing error that day. But when Darren Go went by, I was lost. I could not believe Cigar lost, because to me he was like immortal.
No, it was incredible. I remember a lot of shockwaves in racing, but all the best horses, they pretty much all get beat one time or another. It doesn't diminish from their talents. We appreciate you joining us, as always, on Saratoga Live. A lot of good stuff happening today. Exciting races, actually, and going to be a great card tomorrow. A lot of action. I believe we're going to be on for a total of 4.5 hours tomorrow.
You're going to get enough of me, a little bit of you, but 2 to 6:30. Tune in.
2 to 6:30 tomorrow, and of course the Alabama, the Lake Placid. Lots of great stuff happening here. Great racing today. You see Rajiv Maragh, our man, and Leah Giamatti getting the win. Love to see our friend Rajiv in the winner's circle, one of the good guys in the game. Excellent performances. Chattel was just terrific winning the Skidmore. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.